Testing. If anyone's on, I'm not sure what's going on. It's saying no one is, so I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's just lagging a little bit. Okay, there it goes. We'll give it another few seconds to let more people get on. Stand by. I don't know. Something's going on with my camera. Hopefully it looks all right. It's blurry on my end for some reason. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I just turned the ads off. So y'all shouldn't get any more. Let me make sure. Yeah, they're off. That was probably what was the holdup in the beginning. Listening from Foley. What's up? David, how are you? Gene. Well, Gene, we're only on YouTube tonight. Wednesday nights are exclusively on YouTube, so we'll probably have a pretty good crowd. I don't know what's going on with my camera. It's driving me insane. Yeah, I don't know. The focus is not working or something right. Where did... What's up, Kaylee? We do have a lot of very interesting things to discuss tonight. It's going to be very interesting. We're going to talk about the Danny Williams case, and if you're not familiar with that, it's we briefly spoke about it on Monday night's live, but Danny was an associate, a good friend of Tony Keenan's in Orange Beach, Alabama, the mayor down there, and he allegedly drowned, but I don't buy that, and as well as a lot of other people. It's way too suspicious. And so we'll probably look at it some more. Monday night, we watched a video of Danny's girlfriend at the time being interviewed by the police, if you want to call it that. Then I went and watched. Hold on just a second. Sorry. You're going to have to give me about 2 minutes, and I'll be right back. All right. I apologize. What's up, Isha? I had to play Dr. Dad for a second. My little girl had busted her lip a little bit, but she's completely okay. It's a very, very minor thing, but it scared mommy. So we're good. So back to what I was talking about the Danny Williams case. And so I went and watched the podcast that a lot of people was talking about that night. It's Heart of Dixie Tyranny in Orange Beach. You can find that here on YouTube. And the host is a retired attorney out of that area. And it also had two guests, which was Neely. She's going to be mad at me even more now. Hold on. I don't want to say their names wrong. It was Whitney and Neely. Yeah, Neely Faulkner with Murder Creek Media, and Whitney, if you're listening, I hope I don't mispronounce your name. Scapecchi? Scapecchi? Scapecchi or Scapecchi? And anyway, it was an awesome podcast. Very informative. And they go into very deep detail on the Danny Williams case. And there's more body camera footage on that they had on the podcast that featured the girlfriend's sister and I think brother-in-law. We're going to get into that, but the sister was saying some things that day. Something's not right. And we'll go through all of that, and you're going to see and hear for yourself that there is something up. And I hate to dog a law enforcement agency over an investigation. Well, I'm not dogging them over an investigation. They didn't do an investigation. That's the problem. I thought a lot more of the Orange Beach Police Department than what I'm seeing looking into this case. They did absolutely no investigation. And you cannot do that unless you 100% know for a fact it was an accident, such as a car accident. And witnesses say, yeah, this is what happened. Someone that's missing for 2 days and then you find them in the water, you have to do an investigation. You can't just deem that a drowning. That is crazy. And we talked about it the other night. So the ME's office, the medical examiner's office, ruled it a drowning. But he didn't have water in his lungs. And so I was like, how's that possible? This is how it's possible. He just went off what the law enforcement told him, that it was an accident, so he ruled it a drowning. That's literally why. I don't think that's the way things are supposed to work. And, you know, I don't know. I could speculate all day about why it happened like this and why they did absolutely no investigation, but I don't know for sure. Yes, are ads still playing? I've turned them off. Are they still playing? If they are, I don't know what to do because I've turned them off. Gene, are you saying they are still playing? Okay, I'm very confused now. Okay, all right. We'll move on. But I don't know why they did absolutely no investigation. That is crazy to me. I expect that out of, there's a lot of very small agencies that I would expect that out of. Doesn't make it right, but I would say, yeah, that figures. Not that agency. And I know I have worked alongside of some of their investigators before back. It's been quite a while ago. I've had some of them in my classes. So I know this is not a agency-wide issue. So what it had to have been was the leadership. And that chief is now gone. But he must have been a complete piece of shit. Police chief. His leadership must have been horrible. They completely botched and screwed up the domestic violence investigation where they responded to Tony Keenan that night, where they did not make contact with the female. That is unheard of. And now I see they've done this on this investigation where they didn't do an investigation. There's no way this is the only two. It's just the two that I know of now. And again, I know this is not an agency-wide issue there, so it had to have been the former chief. That's the only thing it could have been. But it's unacceptable for someone to be missing for 2 days and you find them in the water and then you just deem it a drowning. If people were with him that day and saw him go under the water and just never come back up, and it was the people actually with him, and then divers went in then and they searched for 2 days and then they found him, that's understandable. That is a completely different scenario than what happened. The girlfriend who was allegedly with him when he was last seen said she saw him get on another boat out of the water and leave. Then the next day, she's up making a missing persons report on him. And the next day, citizens find him floating in the water. Completely different scenario. And I can't imagine how his family has felt knowing that they did absolutely no investigation. And the little bit I know about the little bit I've dug into this case already, just a little bit, I see so many inconsistencies and red flags. It's crazy. And the fact that no one at Orange Beach Police Department at that time saw any of these inconsistencies is very concerning to me. And I pointed out some in the body camera footage of the girlfriend. After I watched the rest of the body camera footage from when they were speaking with her sister and brother-in-law and some of the other people around there, a lot more inconsistencies, a lot more red flags. If you have not watched the podcast that I'm talking about, let me pull it up. Oh, and also, before I forget to tell y'all, later on during the live tonight, I'm going to give you a sneak peek of the podcast that I will be releasing either tomorrow or Friday. And you don't want to miss it, because I'm going to show you one of the best parts during the sneak peek. And it's going to be shocking to some of you, to say the least. Very shocking to some of you. It was pretty shocking to me, honestly. But it's going to change your mind and opinions on some people, I would think. Hold on, I'm going to shrink myself here a little bit. So again, when you get a chance, you need to go watch this full podcast. You see the name right here, Heart of Dixie podcast, Orange Beach Tyranny, and you won't be disappointed, because we're not going to go through the entire podcast or anything, because it's a couple hours. We're just going to hit on some parts, but you'll get all the details once you watch it. The girlfriend also went out partying. I can't speak either. Partering. I don't know why I can't say that word right now. Anyway, partying. There we go. The night he went missing. So I've heard that the attorney that does this podcast, that hosts this podcast I'm talking about, says that not only did she go out partying that night, but she was with Tony Keenan, the mayor, I believe at the wharf is where he said. Don't quote me on that part, but I know he said that they were together. And when one of the guests asked him, did he know that for sure? His response was, I got it from a source that I trust dearly. So take that for what it's worth. Obviously, he believes it, and I don't have a reason not to trust the guy. So that's pretty concerning. This Tiny Keenan profile, now it's popped up on YouTube. It cracks me up. And it's one of those things, like, I kind of want to know who's behind it, but then again, I kind of don't. Because it's like when you're little and you first learn Santa Claus is not real, and part of you is like, I wish I wouldn't have known he's not real. It was more, a little more exciting when I thought he was real. That's my feelings on this Tiny Keenan profile. Anyway, I appreciate you joining us, Tiny Keenan. Oh, that got my... my ADHD is my ADD is kicking in there. So, sounds pretty plausible that there's a decent possibility she was not only partying that night, but with Tony Keenan himself. I think I'll go ahead and tell you some of my theories, and then we will listen to some of the audio and some of the video, watch some of the video. Or let me give you one of my theories. And please understand, I've only been digging into this somewhat for like 2 days. So there's still a lot about this case that I don't know. There's still a lot that I want to know that I don't yet. So my theories can change. This is just the things that's crossing my mind right now from the information that I've seen and explored so far. Part of me believes that the day he went missing, that the day the incident allegedly occurred. So, actually, let me start here for those of you that don't have a clue what I'm talking about. It was I think, middle of May, hot summer day, Orange Beach, Alabama, and Danny was allegedly on a boat with his girlfriend. Very crowded waters. And allegedly, they got into an argument. And at some point, Danny was no longer on the boat. The girlfriend was. She said that he threw the keys overboard, so she didn't have keys. So she had to get someone to tow her in. The police were called, and they came and immediately went to her while she was on the boat and asked her, do you need any assistance? Was anybody else on the boat with you? And she said, no, I'm good. Even though that wasn't true, because allegedly he was on the boat with her, and she said she saw him jump overboard. But then she said she saw him get into another boat. Another boat picked him up and left. Allegedly, this was within seeing distance. I guess the right phrase is eyesight. Was in eyesight of the girlfriend's name is Shay, of her sister's house, which is a big, amazing residence in Orange Beach. Allegedly, the sister's worth like $100 million. So that's a little very quick synopsis of what we're talking about. Police show up on the water. She says, no, I'm good. Then she gets someone to tow her in. So, back to my theory as of right now. I think there's a decent possibility that the girlfriend was highly intoxicated and maybe didn't understand exactly what was going on at the time. And that maybe the sister from her house saw them out there, maybe saw them arguing, fighting, I don't know, and sent someone out there. And I think there's a decent possibility that person is who picked Danny Williams up out of the water, because his girlfriend was adamant that that's what happened. And then I think that person took him off and took his life. I don't think in that moment and at that time, specific time, that the girlfriend really knew that happened. Now, the next day when she showed up at that police department, she knew what had happened. Now, let me explain why I believe this. So I believe the sister has something to do with this as of right now. Again, my theory could change learning more information. The reason that this is what I think possibly happened is because the girlfriend, while she's on the boat, and once she arrives at the sister's house, because that's where she immediately goes, and then police show up there talking to her and the sister and the brother-in-law, and the girlfriend is still saying, no, he jumped off the boat, but then he got another boat, picked him up. And then the sister stops her and says, no, that's not what happened. He punched you and knocked you out, and you fell down in the boat. Then he voluntarily jumped in the water, and a boat did not pick him up. And last we saw him, he was swimming, and we thought he's not going to make it. And then we haven't seen him again. And then the girlfriend goes, okay, I don't remember any of that. So the sister, who was not in the boat, tells the girlfriend, no, this is what happened. And when the first time she said it and we're going to listen to it, and she said voluntarily jumped in the water, I was like, who the hell says that? That's not something somebody says. If you saw someone jump in the water, you just say they jumped in the water. Nobody says they voluntarily jumped in the water. If you're just talking about somebody jumping in the water, that was very weird to me. What made it even more strange is every single time she talks about him jumping in the water after that, she uses the same term. I saw him, he voluntarily jumped in the water. It's very strange. Very strange. Let me get to some of those parts here so we can watch. I should have timestamped this when I was watching it, and I didn't, so.
He's tucking something under the bimini is why I took that picture. So who the hell are these guys? Because they're Alita, Alabama law enforcement agency, all day long.
That's Marine Patrol, it looks like.
Yes, it is. And this guy's got on dungarees, little shorts or whatever. So part of our conversation, yeah.
Well, you know who works down there in Marine
So
Patrol.
then who the fuck is this? And who is this? I mean, there's all these civilians around that are unidentified.
Hang on, go back.
Now, for context, the voices you're hearing is the attorney that is the host of this podcast. And he was recording a conversation that he was having with another gentleman that has something to do with the state, but I didn't go back and listen to figure out exactly what he did. But so, for context, this attorney was actually filing a wrongful death lawsuit in Danny Williams' case. And so he's done deep investigation into all of this. Very knowledgeable on the case. Knows pretty much everything there is to know about it. That's who you hear talking. He's trying to get some of the officers and civilians identified. That was, I think this video, the pictures that we're seeing are actually from the day that Danny's body was found.
my boyfriend.
Oh, she just held the boat off.
She kind of looks like if Natasha Richardson did adult film.
Why? Watch it. Oh.
Thank you, sir. Hello. Oh, watch that. Watch the boat. Just give yourself a little push over here.
And if you're having trouble hearing what's going on, nothing I can do about that. There's a lot going on here, and it's just very noisy. But they have the captions on.
We what the hell's going on? Well, I don't know, but we saw Danny hit you in the pool. I know, it's okay.
So this is the girlfriend, and then you hear her sister speaking. I don't know, but we saw Danny hit you.
We got it.
And then you
To ensure that I'm not in control of the boat, it was anchored. You saw it blowing across.
I know. I was anchored. I wasn't floating. I was anchored. And the Coast Guard came out and I was anchored. No one was floating.
And for some reason, the audio is not perfectly synced up with the video. And again, I don't know. That's just the way it is.
And Danny Williams, the MMA fighter, supposedly just knocked her out. That's the story.
Yeah, that girl didn't just get knocked out. Police on scene that day did not see any injuries on her at all. We see her pretty good here. She didn't get knocked out. There's no way she got knocked out and there's literally no injuries at all. That doesn't happen. Not to a female like that, especially when someone is highly intoxicated because their blood is very thin. They're going to bruise very, very easily and bleed very easily if there's a cut. Now, there could possibly not be any cuts, but there's going to be something. And no, I agree with you. I don't think she's as intoxicated as she says she was.
Yeah, she definitely looks like she just.
And if you went down in that boat with all those chairs,
So that was him. You saw how big the guy is. I mean, Danny Williams was a big guy. I don't know why it keeps jumping around like that when I'm trying to stop it there. But anyway, you see, I mean, he's a big guy. He was literally arrested for selling steroids. That's one of the reasons he went to prison when he went. So this is a big guy. He didn't just knock that girl out.
Oh, watch that. Watch the boat. Just give yourself a little push over here. That's what we're trying to find out.
What the hell's going on? Well, I don't know, but we saw Danny hit you in the pool. I know, it's okay.
We got it.
And then you
to ensure that I'm not in control of the boat, it was anchored. You saw it blowing across.
I know. I was anchored. I wasn't floating. I was anchored. And the Coast Guard came out and I was anchored. No one was floating.
And Danny Williams, the MMA fighter, supposedly just knocked her out. That's the story.
Yeah, she definitely looks like she just.
And if you went down in that boat with all those chairs,
Shay, because
elbows,
Danny's missing. Danny jumped off your boat.
Yeah, no way
You're
there'd be some
knocked
sort of
out and your boat was
confusion.
wrecked. And this guy was like, he got on somebody else's boat. No, he didn't. We watched him swim.
She's saying he got on someone else's boat. She's very adamant about that. And the sister, who allegedly saw this from her house, tells a completely different story.
We watched watched the whole thing.
Danny's missing. Danny jumped off your boat. You
Jumped
jumped
off
out
the
and
boat.
your
You
boat
watched
was
it.
flipped. And this guy was like, he can't swim somebody else's boat.
Somebody jump off the boat distressed, and they said he's nowhere to be found.
It's very hard to hear, so I'm going to replay that because that's one of the parts. This is where the sister is literally, she's stopping the girlfriend and saying, no, this is what happened. He hit you, knocked you out. Then he voluntarily jumped in the water. We saw him swimming, and then we never saw him again.
That's why we're here. We just want to
See
figure out
that
what's going on.
little chick right there? Not a blemish on it. No. Got kind of a beer gut on. Need to work
Throw
on
him
that.
in the water. Get on some.
But like, there would
You know
be
whose
some
boat he
sort of
got on?
sign of
Can you describe it?
confrontation.
Her whole butt cheeks hanging out. There's nothing wrong with it.
Like, I don't understand how we could claim domestic violence.
Sorry, let me get on tonight.
Are you good?
No,
Because we
I'm
can let all
okay.
these guys
I'm
go.
okay.
I'm okay.
Who the fuck is this guy? That's back there into the boat. Does anybody look for the keys?
That's old Fred. You know old Fred.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Look.
That's what it sounds like. I appreciate you. We just want to make sure he's
Watch her get out of the boat.
Can you describe to us? We just want to make sure he's all right.
Because I don't know boats, and I
Was it?
You're right about that. All right, so let's confirm that.
don't know boats.
What color it was?
White.
White. Okay. Big, small.
It's like not as big as Dana's.
Not this one, but bigger than fancy. Somewhere in
Uh-huh.
between.
Oh yeah, it's a lot bigger than fancy. He is fine.
See, the girlfriend is saying, he is fine. Y'all quit worrying about him. He's fine. And the sister seems very adamant. I don't think she says he's not fine, but she's not expressing the same feelings. Yeah, she's not stumbling around or anything. She's definitely she's been drinking. That's pretty obvious, but I don't think she's anywhere close to as intoxicated as she was saying she was. She's definitely not intoxicated enough to where she's just not going to remember anything. That's crazy.
Yeah. Okay. Very small. It's like not as big as Dana's. Not this one, but.
And right now she's trying to describe the boat that picked him up.
Fancy. Somewhere in between. Oh yeah, it's a lot bigger than fancy. It's a lot bigger than fancy.
Here's the one chance, Fancy.
To check because we lost sight of the boat. So I walked out here to check, and the boat was on there, and I looked over here to see if I could see him swimming still, and I never saw it.
Okay.
I've noticed that.
Yeah, like I said, I would have thought he made it.
There's the case.
What it sounds like.
And so I thought, no, and I walked out here. Because the west side of the boat. So I walked out here to check, and the boat was on there, and I looked over
See how clear this water is?
I would come off of
Is she? Hang out here with y'all.
He's all up now.
That's right. Is she cool to hang out here with y'all?
Take care of it. Watch him voluntarily jump off.
I'm going to clean this audio up when I put it in my editing software in the next few days and clean it up. We're going to hear it a lot better. But you heard her for the first time say, we watched him voluntarily jump off the boat. Again, very weird, strange choice of words.
that and we watched them swim.
But I got up, like I didn't know it was there, so I thought, well, I'll go check. And I never saw him. I saw people going out there.
All right, well,
I appreciate it. Thank y'all.
see you
Every day.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I like I said, we watched him voluntarily jump off. We watched his head pop up and we watched him swim.
All right, fellas, you ready?
And I never saw him. I saw both people going out there.
All right, well.
All you.
'Cause what I had to do yesterday is just not watch it and listen to the audio, and I was able to pick up on a lot more things. But that's a glimpse of what I was talking about. The girlfriend, as you see, is very adamant that he got on another boat. The sister, who someone in this video that's with the attorney that's recording the this other conversation, and then they're just walking through this body camera footage. Someone on there said that they don't think it was possible for the sister to be able to see where this boat was. Now, again, I'm just going off what they said. I don't know this residence at all. I've never been there in my life. So, so I'm just going on. I'm just telling you what they said.
I love it.
All right, Phil, you ready?
I can't imagine why.
I wouldn't even need a hunting camp if I'm man. I just
It
kind
would
of
be illegal. Although,
So he got on the boat, huh?
That's what we're thinking.
Steve McMillan about tossed us cookies when we were out there.
So that just confirms law enforcement is also thinking he got on another boat because the person that was with him said that. The same law enforcement that when he is found 2 days later in the water, just deem it a drowning.
Seeing him that particular shade of green.
What?
But
I can't imagine why.
On 64 North Beach, 1041. She'll be out
He got on the boat, huh? That's what we're thinking.
oh, I forgot there's a concert. Oh, that's how you do it.
But she on that boat.
Be clearing up things now.
Danny Williams like a cluster book.
Yeah, I wonder how he got over here. I remember one time this PI swam away from me and right into Sergeant Kircher.
I remember that right there next to
Zeke's.
yeah.
Through jellyfish and everything.
Yeah, I remember that.
And so got him to the jail and he said, looked at me and said, fuck you. I was like,
Yeah.
what?
I didn't even do anything.
This is a crazy nice place.
Oh, wow, this is nice. They got money. Well, they don't look wet. Hey, how's it going, y'all? Going good. You guys okay?
Yeah, we're good. We just saw it happen.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Guy jumped.
You don't know where he went?
He swam that way, and we never saw him.
Okay. So he's still probably out there.
Somebody said he was on land.
Yeah, somebody said he was here.
They said he was here, but now I ain't checked the house yet. We just pulled back.
Y'all know him?
Yes, her boyfriend. Shay's boyfriend. That's her sister.
Oh, okay.
Where's our patient at?
We don't know yet.
We don't know.
Well, it's got to be.
He done our union OFT?
Did they ID? Did they get his full name from you yet and try to ID him?
Danny Williams.
Danny Williams?
Oh, yeah.
146. Have you got the name Danny Williams yet?
Just happened to
We
see
were
it
sitting
all.
in the pool. And we watched it all.
Yep. And see, and like I said, it looked like he hit her, and then he jumped. Oh, he voluntarily jumped.
146. Did you copy?
Baby, they want me.
Looks like he hit her and then he voluntarily jumped in the water. And this is not different times. I think this is the same. This is just a better body camera and a lot better audio.
Do we have information for Danny Williams?
10-4. That's going to be our subject that we're looking for the moment.
You on the boat?
Well, no, we were just
10-4,
talking
10-12.
about, me and
How-
Pat, we were just sitting here and said, there's no sister, but it looks like they can't get in.
What's his real first name?
I don't know. Danny Williams is all I know.
How?
Oh yeah, he's a regular at the
Well, we got
police
two of them in the system right now. So I'm trying to ID them so we have them on file.
I don't know.
You
All
don't
I know
know?
is Danny Williams.
How old is he?
Maybe William? Hello. I think it's William.
Somebody named their kid William Williams.
He jumped off y'all right before our
Where does he live? Where's his address?
I don't know.
They didn't start here.
Oh, didn't start here?
They haven't.
Well,
Nobody's
he
been at my
said
house.
supposed to.
Here.
Yeah, they're supposed to
They
be here.
witnessed it.
Oh, they witnessed it.
Yeah, nobody's been here except for me and my boyfriend.
I don't have my. No, I don't. But you can just send it to me.
Oh, dude, I ain't gonna lie. I forgot to send your number.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
We were sitting there talking about.
Copy.
We were like, what are you doing? The boat just kept saying,
251 680
680
7759.
77.
Yes, sir.
She said he was represents as well. Yeah, those are tough. We
What's
hate
up,
letting
Katie?
birds sit on deck, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just burning fuel, doing nothing. So it's hard to.
It's hard to make that judgment call that quick.
Yeah.
It looked like he needed to go, though. Y'all did the right thing on that one, I
Oh,
think.
yeah. He was looking like couldn't keep space together.
Cameras on our dock to shoot 180 degrees on the end out there.
I gotcha.
We'll check them later. But
Well, the thing is he's not found yet, and he was last seen in the water.
Yeah.
We don't want another incident that we had
I
last.
know.
You know.
I was anchored. I wasn't floating. I was anchored. And the Coast Guard came out. I was anchored.
Is that his girlfriend or wife or whatever?
that's her
Okay.
sister.
Okay.
And his sister.
I don't know.
Shay, because Danny is missing. Danny jumped off your boat. You were knocked out, and your boat was floating.
See, she's telling the girl who was actually there what happened.
And this guy was like, he got on somebody else's boat. No, he didn't. We watched him swim. We watched the whole thing. He jumped off the boat. We watched him. And people called the police because they saw somebody jump off the boat distressed, and that's nowhere to be found.
That's what we're like. We just want to figure out what's going on.
Don't be mean to me. I saw him in the water. Get off somebody's boat.
You got on somebody's boat? You know what the boat looked like? You know what it looked like?
This is a nice boat, not like my boat. But he got on a boat.
legs took off.
Shay, but you're not hurt anymore? Are you good?
No,
Because we
I'm
can let all
okay.
these guys
I'm
go.
okay. I'm okay. Oh, I love you.
I think I still call later when he doesn't come home.
No, I'm
And
okay. I'm
they're
okay.
like,
I'm okay.
we can't
It's
find him.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, you guys told us that he jumped on the boat, so got that on.
But he's out.
Got that on camera. They're saying that she saw him on another boat, but so if she calls later and says, well, we can't find him, or he's not here, then
Yeah, he's not here.
well, our issue is somebody says he's not on a boat, somebody says he is on a boat. We got to go, you know.
Well, like I said, we're sitting in the
We
pool.
would.
I watched him jump in. I thought he ain't never gonna make that swim.
That's what I was saying. I was like, that's a haul.
Yes, in the current.
In the current?
Yeah, so
In the
it-
current, I said,
exactly.
he ain't gonna make that swim. And I kept on looking over this way to see if I saw him come, and I never saw it. So either he got on the boat, or I missed it.
I don't believe he got on the boat. Look, our house is blocking our view. We only saw what we could see from the pool area this way.
What was the 911? What
So now she is. I missed this yesterday. She's saying our house was blocking half of our view at least. But then she's so adamant about exactly what happened.
the caller say? That she saw somebody jump in and go down and
go
not
down
come.
and
No, we saw him splash up and swim. We witnessed.
Were y'all with the callers?
No. We watched him swim, but now I couldn't. We lost sight from this boat, and so I don't know. And I walked out here to check because we lost sight of the boat. So I walked out here to check, and the boat was on there, and I looked over here to see if I could see him swimming still, and I never saw him.
Okay.
So, either like I said, I wouldn't have thought he made it to land. I would have thought somebody had picked him up by boat. 'Cause that's a
That's what it sounds like.
tough swim.
Yeah.
Very much so.
And for report of drugs and intoxicated subjects behind Phoenix 29576 Perdido Beach Boulevard. 295.
Is that me call or you call?
It's us call.
Call reference to a
Just
group
kidding.
of 3 adults and multiple children close to the water.
This one right here.
Marijuana and heavily drinking.
All grown up.
Smoking marijuana and heavily drinking near the water. Watch out.
It's going to be
Oh.
wearing a pink bathing suit,
Oh.
red
I
hair,
just think if
and
you would just
drinking
walk a few
out of
miles
the
that
bottle.
way, it's legal.
I haven't. I don't know. I mean, I like I said,
Might
we
go ahead and beat
watched him
that.
voluntarily jump off. We watched his
Unless
head
you need
pop
us, I mean,
up,
I don't know.
and we watched-
Yes, he died. And you hear again there. We watched him voluntarily jump off the boat. It's just, and I spoke with some other people today some previous coworkers. I'm like, have you ever, if someone said the term, I saw him voluntarily jump off the boat, and they kept saying it, would that be strange? And of course, everybody said yes. That seems very strange to me. I know I'm harping on that, but I think that's a pretty big clue.
Well, yeah. I mean, we're not gonna. We can't find them. I mean, hell.
I never seen him here.
You do
so I
find
thought,
him.
well, I'll go
He
check.
wants an ambulance.
And I
Give
never
you a
saw
call.
him. I saw him.
Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. Y'all the gang. All right. Appreciate y'all.
I appreciate it. Thank y'all.
Be good. Thank you so much. Thank y'all for everything.
No problem. Thank you, sir.
Thank y'all.
You got a nice place here. Dear God, this place.
Hey, right? It'll make you rethink your life choices, won't it?
Yeah.
What did we do? Gotta figure something out, okay? Clearly, I went wrong.
I'm just gonna keep trying for the lottery and hope it works out.
I know somebody I can contact.
He said, "Oh, I thought I might need to identify the body." I said, "Oh, shit, how did you know who it was?"
Because you said you did. Well done.
Yeah, this is all just like
So the police chief, the Orange Beach police chief, was deposed as part of the lawsuit by this attorney. And he was asked, what was your involvement with the Danny Williams case, with the Danny Williams investigation? He said, I had no involvement whatsoever. Well, then the attorney's going through photos and videos and sees the police chief literally standing over his body.
So anyway,
Who's the judge?
Bishop and Bishop. Look at where it happened, what county, how the person died, the person's name, the date they died.
Where was you guy from up in Monroe County? The journalist.
He's not on there. Nor is the police chief in that little town. But this is the Peyton Little 2016 hung himself with a seatbelt. Joel Henderson is at Rick Gilmore's hunting camp and gets killed with a fucking flare gun to the chest.
You told me about that.
Buddy Skipper, you know who he is, riding around his own hunting property, died. His car catches on fire and blows up with him in it. Then Joe Gilchrist, his best friend, is found with a dead from a drug overdose in the parking lot of the Wharf parking lot. Danny Williams dies 2 days later. Then David Steele, who stole $20 million from under the nose of the probate court in Monroe County and started the fucking Monroe County Sausage Company, blows his brains out and makes himself the only person accountable for all that money being missing. And then 2 days later, Wesley Dozier stabs himself to death 23 times. This is just ancillary because this is drugs and this is drugs and this is drugs. They fall outside of my 2 for 2.
No, you don't want to fall into a post hoc ergo propter.
Right. So anyway, Scott Myrick, do you know who Scott is?
I know the Myricks. Which
Okay.
Myricks is it?
No, none of those. So Scott Myrick and his wife moved down here from where the hell ever. And I'm hoping they're gluten free. Moved down here from wherever, and he got off drugs, and they started this Christian ministry stuff and everything. So anyway, the intelligence unit for the Orange Beach Police Department is in the Wharf.
Yeah.
And there's also a space in there that the OCDF, the Organized Crime Drug Interdiction Task Force, uses. And for counterintelligence purposes, like say I'm going undercover for a week, I drive down there to the Wharf, I park my personal vehicle, and I take a, Acme Bug Company is what the tag comes back as, right? It's an undercover government vehicle. So anyway,
this attorney is putting out a lot of sensitive information, by the way. I don't necessarily agree with, but
the number 2 realtor at Remax is found dead in that parking deck between 2 federal drug interdiction vehicles. And nobody says a fucking thing. So here's the other thing. This great big compound that Art Favre owns, that all this shit happened in front of, none of his fucking cameras worked that day. And guess who his head of security is? Chief Biddy. You gotta be kidding. So anyway, this thing stinks to high heaven. And all of these deaths are suspect.
Jim Bibby?
I guess that's his name.
Yeah.
He's the former chief.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's far. Oh, and the other amazing thing, and I've got the text message. So Kenan calls my client and says, I can't come to the funeral, and you know why. So then the other richest person in the whole fucking world that lives down there, John McInnes, happens to be standing on the top of Phoenix, whatever it is, on the bay or whatever they call it. And he sees all this happen. And 3 days after all of it, he calls Tony Ybarra and says, Tony, I saw all this shit happen. I'm going to send you a pin on Google Maps exactly where I saw it happen and all this shit, right? Just like stellar alibis for how Danny Williams met his fate here. Okay. So here's the other bullshit thing. So I go depose the medical examiner. I say, okay, so, You know how when you put a cold beer or a hot beer in the refrigerator, it takes like 7 hours to get cold, or you can put it in icy water and it's cold in 7 minutes. That's the
Or you
only
could
thing I.
take a wet paper towel and put it in the freezer.
There you go. Heat capacity. That's what I'm talking about. So, had all these brilliant questions about heat capacity and whether or not they. So anyway, when your body's in the water, diatoms get in the water in your eyes and they masturbate and reproduce. And it's kind of like maggots. You can tell how long
I've never heard it put quite like that, by the way, but it's pretty funny.
somebody's been in the water,
Based on-
right?
yes.
Based on the diatom. So I had all these brilliant questions, right? So I'm like, okay, so Danny Williams goes missing on Friday. I contend that she brained him in the fucking head, and there he floated in the water until these people saw him sink, right? She's claiming that he beat her up and jumped off the boat and swam for it, and for lack of a better reason, he just got a big mouthful of water and drowned. Oh no, there's no water in his lungs. And you're saying that all of these contusions and stuff are post-mortem. He got run over by a boat after he died. So let me ask you, Mr. Medical Examiner, when did he die? What was the time of death? I don't know. They didn't take a liver temp when they found his body because it was an accident.
That's fucked up.
Okay, so we don't even know when it. See, we could, and so I asked Brian Pierce about it. I said, Brian, what the fuck? And he goes, well, man, we looked at all of it, and we just could. I didn't see any bruising, which would indicate that it happened. But I was like, dude, people cut their fucking wrists in the bathtub so it won't clot. Are you shitting me? And also, crabs and little fish, they eat all the goo. You ever had a sore and get in the water, the little pinfish eat all the fucking scab off of it for you? Okay, this is bullshit. Y'all don't know anything.
Sounds fishy to me.
I've done more investigating than these poor people having to pay me money
So
to do it.
Was the family able to do like a separate autopsy or anything?
No, shit, no. Why? It was inconclusive. I mean, there's no way to go back and determine when the cause of the time of death was.
No, it's so weird.
Okay, so I'm deposing the chief of police. The other thing that comes.
It's almost as if someone purposely made sure that this was not investigated. I don't say that lightly. It's not something I would say lightly. I have no other explanation, though. None.
Up as he said, you had nothing to do with the investigation. He said, no, I sure didn't. So I'm like, can you tell me what this is a picture of? Oh, it's me standing over Danny Williams' corpse at the fucking Marine police. I said, well, what were you doing there? If you had nothing to do with it. He said, oh, I thought I might need to identify the body. I said, shit, how did you know who it was?
Because you said you did. Well done.
Yeah, this is all just like, so anyway,
Who's the judge?
Bishop.
As Tammy was saying, this is very, very fishy. In all seriousness, that's very strange stuff.
Yeah. And Bishop, so they tried to quash the body cameras and stuff. And Bishop, he didn't know what hearing. He just said, yeah, you got to get it. So now Rob, the attorney on the other side, wants special instructions for me not to ask any questions that are untoward about the damn Orange Beach Police Department.
Rob
Gottlieb. Anyhow, I want to call Mr. Ybarra because I've wasted enough of your
No,
time.
no,
Give me
you're
1
fine.
second.
I'm just trying to think of the best way to accomplish this.
The issue that the attorney is having, what he's talking about right now while he's talking to this guy, is he's subpoenaing law enforcement and no one's answering his subpoenas. That's not normal. Now, trigger warning. You can see a little bit of a body in this video, so it's not, you can't see a lot or anything, but just warning that if you're very, very sensitive to that stuff, this could bother you.
Yeah, that's him.
I'll just grab him. I'll just grab him.
Yeah, we might as well grab him.
So he don't sink down. Just a little bit closer, boss.
Hey, fire department's coming.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Don't know. All right. Appreciate it. You good? Hey, let's see if we can block a little bit on the north side. Well, that's a, yeah.
Well, that guy talking as country as it gets. But y'all have to excuse me. My eyes are killing me because I was editing for like 6 hours straight today, and they are freaking killing me.
Maybe the jets won't roll them under.
I don't. Another thing here, I don't understand, and I'm sure different agencies do this different. So I'm not hating on them for this. I don't agree with it. Maybe this is the way they do things. This is a law enforcement case now, 100%, because there's a dead body. Instead of law enforcement retrieving the body, the fire department is coming and retrieving it when it's floating. I don't understand that. Again, it's not that big of it's not like the biggest deal ever, but that's not the way it should be done at all. Because pictures need to be taken. I mean, 1,000 pictures need to be taken while he's still in the water. Somebody needs to roll him over, take pictures, and you pull. I mean, all that's for evidentiary purposes. I don't think they did any of that. I mean, that's just something I've been a part of. I was on the dive team for the sheriff's office for like 4 years. I've pulled more bodies from under the water than I can count. We did no matter if we knew for 100% it was a complete accident. We treated everyone the exact same way. You investigate every single one of them. You take the pictures. You handle every single one the same way, just in case something were to come up later. I don't understand why they do that. Like, I don't understand why they're doing that. Like that. They're just cutting corners. They're just nonchalant. It's crazy.
Joe, to get that damn tiki boat out of here.
That's pretty much it. Let me see. now we'll watch the girlfriend the next day.
Managers, Granger is the go-to partner that helps keep your healthcare facilities ready for patients. Because there's no time to manage.
There we go. And I've cleaned the audio up on this, so you should be able to hear it good.
All right, so let's go everything one more time so I'm not missing anything. I'm going to contact an investigator. See if
Hold on, that's not the one I cleaned the audio. Can't hardly hear that one. Pull up the right one.
All right, so let's go everything one more time so I'm not missing anything. I'm going to contact an investigator, see if he can start helping out. I'm going to call our Marine Division.
He just went by on a bicycle.
So this is the next day. This is the girlfriend, the same woman that we saw on the boat. Some people pointed out they didn't think she was that intoxicated. Listen to the things she says.
Who? Danny. Okay. Which way is he headed? Home or?
That would be towards my house. He just drove. I think that was him. I went outside.
Now, and I pointed out a couple of these things Monday night. The same woman who was very adamant, swore that he got on another boat yesterday, what a coincidence that while she's sitting in the police department lobby writing a statement on this, she sees Danny driving by on a bicycle. Remember, words matter. This is another thing that caught me off guard when I first watched this the other day. Who says driving by on a bicycle? May just be nothing, but it's definitely a red flag.
You didn't turn around, but I swear that was him.
Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start making some phone calls and get some things going, okay? I know you're upset.
And for those of you that wasn't on Monday night, so watch her blink rate. Blink rates, some people put way too much into them. I don't pay attention to blink rates unless I have other indicators. Well, I already have some other indicators, numerous ones. And you will see her blink rate changes drastically from right at first till now. So let me rewind it a little bit, and y'all watch your eyes.
I'm going to contact an investigator, see if he can start helping out. I'm going to call our Marine Division.
He just went by on a bicycle.
Who?
Danny.
Very normal blink rate, if not even slow for blink rate.
Okay. Which way is he headed? Home or?
That would be towards my house. He just drove. I think that was him. I went outside and yelled. He didn't turn around, but I swear that.
And then she says, I think. And then literally right after that, she says, I swear. Well, that's two completely different things.
Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start making some phone calls and get.
Now watch our blink rate now.
Okay. I know you're upset. I know it's stressful. I know a lot of things went on yesterday, but we're not going to take this lightly. Just to clarify, yesterday we got a phone call, and we're just going to fill in the gaps. Yesterday we got a phone call.
And also, blink rate, that's what I kind of meant to say a while ago. Blink rate to me does not indicate deception. It indicates very high stress, nervousness, which does not always mean somebody's being deceptive. But that's why it can be a red flag when you have other things to go with it.
About somebody jumping overboard. A bunch of police boats come out. The helicopter comes out. You speak with somebody and you say, "Don't worry about me. Go over there looking for him." We show up. I know you don't remember this, but I'm just saying what we dealt with. We showed up, asked if anybody was on the boat, asked if anybody jumped from the boat. You said, "No, you're fine. You don't need it."
And this posture she has, I call this surrendering. This is very telling a lot of times. There's two different ways that people, and I've seen this more times than I can ever count. People will arrest themselves subconsciously. A lot of times they'll put their hands behind their back or over their head like this. Now, again, this just by itself wouldn't mean a lot. But with everything else, as Tammy would say, very fishy.
We said, "Was anybody else on a boat with you?" You said, "No, you're good. You didn't need anything." We drove away. We had another officer come check on you because we saw alcohol, was worried about, boating under the influence.
See, and I remember someone saying, "Were you driving?" I remember someone saying, "Are you driving the boat?" And I said, "No, I'm not the driver. The driver's the one who got picked up by the boat in the water, and he's the driver." And I said, "I don't have any keys. I'm not driving the boat. I'm going to get someone to, that guy was there. He's going to take me to my sister's." I remember saying that.
Okay. So from there, excuse me, the officer spoke with you, got a little bit more information. The guy that you were next to towed you in.
Right. And then the police officers that were at my sister's house asked
See, I
me,
don't know anything about those.
Okay, well, those guys were there, and they asked me, did I need medical help, because the people on land saw me get knocked out by him. And I said, "No, I don't need medical help." But that's all I remember. I don't remember.
That's all I remember. She's full of shit. As y'all pointed out earlier, she was not that intoxicated. She's full of shit.
I don't even remember from that point, like, getting off the boat and going. I guess because I hit my head, I don't know.
How did you hit your head?
They say he hit me. The people on land say he hit me, and that's how I hit my head.
And this is her way of distancing. She's trying subconsciously. She is distancing herself from making the claim he hit her. Because notice every single time she says, "They say he hit me." So subconsciously, she's continuing to distance herself from locking herself into that statement because she knows it's not true. So never fails. She is, they say she didn't get hit, or she didn't get knocked out anyway, by no means.
What are y'all arguing about over all this?
I don't know. I remember my phone.
All right, you're not under arrest for DUI. I'm going to go straight up.
I remember him throwing my phone over.
How much did y'all drink yesterday?
I probably had 10, 12 White Claws.
Okay.
I mean, I was drinking.
Yeah, so like I said, you're not. I'm not arresting you.
No,
You're not
and
under
I'm
arrest.
saying I don't remember.
Was he drinking pretty good too?
No, he really wasn't drinking like me.
But was he drinking liquor or beer or what?
White Claw.
Golly, how do y'all drink those things? Those are gross.
I don't know, but I remember him throwing my phone over, and I
in the water.
Yes, and her keys. I don't remember that. I just remember him.
And now we've got this other person. She wasn't even in town that day, yesterday. And now she's inserting herself and telling things that happened. It's like everybody knows more of what happened than the person that was literally with him. That's fishy.
Throwing my phone over, and then I woke up on the ground and kind of like in that hole of the boat. And I was like, "Can you help me up?" And I remember him saying, "Fucking get up, I ain't helping you up." And I remember that. And then I remember him jumping off the boat. And then that boat came over. I I said, don't help me, go help him. And they went over to help him. And I had to throw the anchor out because I'm drifting.
Okay, let's see.
I mean, I don't know. I remember him throwing my phone over, and I
In the water?
Yes, and her keys. I don't remember that. I just remember him throwing my phone over, and then I woke up on the ground and kind of like in that hole of the boat, and I was like, "Can you help me up?" And I remember him saying, "Fucking get up! I ain't helping you up." And I remember that, and then I remember him jumping off the boat. And then that boat came over. I said, "Don't help me, go help him." And they went over to help him. And I had to throw the anchor out because I'm drifting.
Okay, let's see.
I mean, I don't know.
But then last night she started remembering. I was with her last night.
Yeah.
After that.
Are you sister
She started remembering last night, but she doesn't remember again today.
or family friends?
She's a friend that came in from Mobile. So she was at my sister's house waiting on me. Like we were coming back there. I don't.
Everything.
Like we were on our way back to my sister's. That's where we were, like right in that area, headed back to my
But no,
sister's.
your sister did say that she saw everything. Like they could see it, and the neighbors had it on camera. Like there's cameras.
What did they see? Was this at a house or on the boat?
It was
From the house.
From their dock or from their
Okay.
house. They could
So
see
what
it.
did they see?
Her sister said she saw him hit her, and then for about 15 minutes, like circling or whatever,
And they saw him jump off the boat.
And so they thought she was dead because they didn't see her come back up. You know, they couldn't really tell.
Okay. All right. Do you have Granny with you
So
as well?
my sister thinks that he because Danny's been in trouble in the past and been in prison. Okay, so
We're familiar with him.
Yeah. So my sister thinks that maybe he's hiding out because he thinks I'm gonna put him in jail. You know.
No. Your sister was pretty adamant yesterday that she didn't think he made it out of the water.
What I'm saying?
Do you know his brother Tony?
Yes.
I just got on the phone with him too.
So yeah, he called and accused me of like letting him drown. I'm like, what are you talking?
And this is another thing. Yeah, from what I understand, I've asked some people, that footage was never even requested. Nobody has any footage. But she said his brother called her earlier on this day and said, "I can't believe you let him drown." But she swears she just saw him drive by on a bicycle.
What are you talking about? I told the boat to go pick him up.
All right. So
The officer didn't. That was not a proper interrogation at all whatsoever. And I talked about this the other night. So and the more I thought about it, I want to be fair to this officer, honestly. He probably just responded there to take a statement. Probably doesn't. Well, he's like, I don't know anything about the police that was on scene or whatever. I don't think he, at this point, I'm just trying to give him the benefit of a doubt. I don't think he had any idea that this could be a death investigation. Now, this is exactly why you treat every interaction, every statement you get, whatever, the same. You always, in law enforcement, you're supposed to think worst case scenario 100% of the time. We definitely didn't do that. Now, officers slack all the time. I did it myself. On certain calls and certain situations, I'd be like, this ain't nothing, even though I shouldn't. But that happens. So again, I don't want to hate on this officer. And I don't blame, and I think I even said this the other night, I don't blame it on him. I blame it on their leadership. This officer should not have been taking a statement from her anyway. It should have been an investigator. And this is exactly why. But that's my favorite thing in the whole wide world to do. If I could sit down and interview people every day, interrogate people every day, it'd be my life's dream. I mean, honestly, I love that more than anything. I love getting information out of people. If I could have gotten her in that day, and not just me, there's tons of investigators that could have done this too. I'm not just saying like I'm the only one by any means. This would have went way different. Very, very different. And that's what's so frustrating to me. Because there's still so much unknown. I've got one theory that's maybe 30% on, like I said earlier. And there's so much that you can't go back and change, that you can't go back and fix. Like the autopsy. Didn't check the liver temp for time of death. That's crazy to me. And that's something like the attorney said. You can't go back and change that. But all of this makes me wonder. It makes me think there was someone behind the scenes purposely making sure this did not get investigated. But there are so many inconsistencies. There's so many red flags with this. And I'm going to see, I don't know if that attorney has that witness statement that she wrote that day. I would love to get my hands on that. I would love to be able to analyze that. Hopefully he does have it and he would let me see it. I don't know. But if he does, I would love to see that. Especially that with her verbal statement there, if you even want to call it a statement. I could probably I could analyze the statement for sure, and it would probably tell me more. But I'm very curious about what she wrote down. Yeah, and that theory is just as good as mine, if not better, honestly. He said that she hit him over the head with the anchor, knocked him overboard, unconscious. It's very possible. And that, because that's the thing, you could, with just the little information I know so far about this, you could definitely look at it like that. And that's the reason she's so adamant that, hey, he got on a boat. Hey, he drove by on a bicycle. He's still alive, because she knows he's not. It was just strange to me. And another way that you could look at her and the sister's statements from the day before is she's just not as good of a liar. And the sister's like picking up on that. Like, no, don't say that. No, he did not get on a boat. He knocked you out. And then he voluntarily jumped off. We saw him swimming. So, yeah, it could definitely be that. For sure. Because if the sister and them really did see something, it's very possible that that's what they saw, that they saw her hit him with the anchor or something and pushed him overboard. And then when they heard her saying he got on another boat, like, no, that's dumb. No, don't say that. We need to play this off as he's drowned. So that's a really good possibility. Another possibility is what, like I said, my one theory was earlier, that the girlfriend didn't really fully understand what was going on at the time, and that the sister sent someone out there because he was fighting with her, and a boat really did pick him up, and then that person took him off and done something with him. one thing that we didn't watch in that podcast that's interesting, the attorney said that not long after this, and I can't remember the time, I think he even says a time frame, but not long after this, the girlfriend has a new boyfriend. And it just so happens her new boyfriend has literally been to prison for murder before. Now, there's a lot, I have a lot of questions about that. Hey, did she so happen to meet this boyfriend through her sister? Did he know her sister? Could have been him that day that her sister sent down there that was on this other boat, and that another boat did pick him up. And then that man took him off and did something, and then they waited a day and then dumped him back in the water. Again, they're all possibilities. I do think her taking him out and knowing that she took him out on the boat, honestly, the more I think about that and say it out loud, I'd probably weigh on that theory now more than I would the other one I was saying a while ago. And like I said, maybe the sister did really see it and saw that, and so they were trying to help her out. There's one thing that's no doubt in my mind. The girlfriend knows what happened by this next day. Now, it's very possible, again, that she knew when the police first talked to her the day before. But she definitely knows this day. No matter who was behind it. She knows he's not alive. And that's why she's still trying to make him be alive. I think, and I don't think I pointed it out today, but when she tells that BS story that she watched him, she says, yeah, he just went by on a bicycle. And then she says, yeah, I saw him. He drove by on a bicycle. And again, that's weird. But when she says that the first time, she looks directly at the officer, not blinking at all, very focused on him. Why? My opinion, because she's trying to see his reaction. She's trying to see, is he buying this bullshit? That's a really good indicator when somebody's bullshitting you. If right after they say it, they're completely 100% focused on you because they want to see, are they buying this? Yeah, the sister, no doubt in my mind, the sister knows what happened too. Because like you said, the sister was coaching her. When she got back, when they were pulling her boat up, her sister was 100% coaching her. And that's strange. But you are right. And see, that's something I haven't thought about, but she does keep bringing up that anchor. And now that you say that, yeah, that's strange. And there was one thing I was watching when I started thinking about that, when she's describing it in the police station, I went back, if you noticed, I went back and watched it because I wanted to see her exact hand reactions. Because a lot of times they will accidentally act out what really happened, but be saying something else. That happens quite often, actually. I didn't see that when I went back and watched it because I was looking for, some of these emotions. But she did absolutely, now that you're talking about the anchor, she did. I'd throw the anchor out and I was blowing around. So, yeah, you're right. She does keep bringing that anchor up and talking about it. It's just, it's sad and it's a disgrace that this wasn't investigated at all. And I don't care what kind of guy the man was. That's irrelevant. Law enforcement should investigate every case the same. It doesn't matter. We see that a lot in Walker County, Alabama. If you are a drug addict or even a previous drug addict and you go missing or you come up dead, they don't investigate it whatsoever. And that should never happen. Ever. And I definitely think that played a little part. And again, as of right now, I firmly believe somebody behind the scenes was trying to make sure that this didn't get investigated, for sure. But I also think a little part of the issues with the responding officers and maybe this other one that was interviewing the next day and stuff, they knew the guy. It's very obvious in that. You hear the one officer the day before even say, leave it up to Danny Williams to have this screwed up thing going on. So they obviously all knew him very well, didn't like him. And I'm not saying they purposely wasn't trying to investigate it. I'm not saying that with the responding officers. That's not what I'm saying. I want to be clear. I'm saying that subconsciously, they probably wasn't putting as much into it because they're like, who cares? I mean, again, completely subconscious. I'm not saying they're heartless or anything like that. But it's just, I think this was a perfect storm. And some people should pay for this. Whoever made the determination to not investigate this at all should have to pay for this in some way, whether it's financially or whatever. Prison. Because it's bullshit. And you won't find any law enforcement professional expert say that should not have been investigated at all. You won't find that. She may have met her new love through Love After Lockup. Well, she did, and I think they talk about this in the podcast. She definitely has a type. Danny had been in prison for drug trafficking, distribution. I think what he went to prison for was the steroids, but it sounded like there was a lot more drugs involved, and this attorney, what he was saying, he was like, I don't understand how because I think he only got like a year. He was like, that's crazy with everything they had on him. I know exactly what that means. That means Danny was snitching. That's 100%. If you've got someone trafficking in cocaine and steroids and you just send them to prison over the steroids, they snitched. They told on people. That's 100%. That's how the federal system works. So, could that have something to do with his death? It's very possible. Yeah, that's a good point. I forgot to bring that up. Like Jennifer said, Danny used to go to bars and get drunk and tell people that he went to prison for Tony Keenan and that Tony owed him money. There's a lot of people that believe that's true. And I can't remember who said this or where I think it was on the podcast. Don't quote me on this, but I'm almost positive. I'll have to go back and listen. The attorney knows a lot about the case that sent Danny to prison. And he tells why again, this is part of the information I can't believe he has put out there for everybody, but because one of his clients was one of the informants on the case. So he knows all the details about it. And he said, either he was saying it or he said that somebody told him that during that investigation, well, the goal of that investigation was they were supposed to be targeting corrupt government officials, local government officials, which explains why the FBI was involved, because the FBI was involved. It's rare that the FBI is involved in drug investigations. That's pretty rare. Because I was very, when they were saying the FBI was involved in that, I was like, why? And so, but then when I heard that part, I said, okay, that's why. And so there's no doubt in my mind they were targeting government officials. There's no doubt in my mind that's the case. But he either said or maybe implied that an informant actually had one of the local officials loading a load of drugs into a vehicle. I don't know if that's true, but that was said. But we know Tony Keenan and him, some of the things that we know for a fact, they were really close before he went to prison. Very close. Then when he got out of prison, Tony Keenan wouldn't even speak to him. Now, he was saying that was because he owed him $2 million. And then you heard, I think it was the attorney say that Tony Keenan called Danny Williams' brother before the funeral and said, hey, I can't come to the funeral for obvious reasons. So there's definitely more there than they're being open about. The thing with the steroids, though, with me, and there are exceptions to everything, I understand that. Steroids was actually one of my, somehow ended up being one of my, that was the main thing that I worked undercover on, was steroid cases. The most undercover work I did was on steroid cases and major dealers and things like that. So I know that world. I mean, I was undercover with one little group for over 6 months one time on it. So I know that world, and it's different. And the one thing out of all the steroid cases I investigated and worked undercover with, they never messed with any other drugs. So, but these guys sounds like obviously was. So that's different for me. But the one thing about steroids, and it's the reason, there was a couple reasons that we went after so many. Number one, I know one of the ones that I worked was selling to high school students. And so that's not okay. Some of the other was because of the money. There is big money in selling roids. Big money. I'm talking more money than major steroid dealers make more money than most other drug dealers selling anything. I mean, the markup is huge. Like one of the guys I worked, he taught me how to make it and everything. I know the whole process. I'm not going to sit here and explain the whole process because I'm not going to teach you how to do it. But simplifying it, you order ingredients for $200 from Hong Kong, China. So you got $200 invested in it. And then you may invest another 100 in supplies. Let's say you got $300 invested. You'll flip that into 20 grand. 15 grand at least. That's how, I mean, that market is crazy. And there is not many. It's hard to find a steroid dealer. And so when you got one, especially in like a beach town like that, there's no telling how much money they were bringing in just off the roids. There is no telling. And I think that's why most roid dealers that I ever dealt with, they didn't mess with any other drugs because they knew that most people were not going to care if they're selling steroids. And that's true. Unless they're really, really big, and they would end up starting out small and then realizing, holy shit, I can make a lot of money. And I didn't work the investigation. I can't remember why I was there. But now I think about it. So I worked it was in Mobile. So I remember being part of a search warrant in Mobile on a couple of storage units, and we got I think it was like $700,000 or $800,000 in cash out of that storage unit from a big dealer there, from a big steroid dealer down there. But there's tons of money in it anyway. Oh, what's up, Neely? Well, we've been talking about you. Actually, earlier, we played quite a bit of the podcast that you were on with the attorney. We watched most of the body camera footage that he had on there from the day that Tony went missing, or not Tony, Danny went missing, and then we also went back and watched the body camera footage from the next day with the girlfriend. And so, but yeah, we've been discussing that the whole time. But that was an amazing podcast. Like, that was very informative. Y'all did great. And that attorney knows all the details on this case. So that's very good. Steroids is still a big problem. And I'm sure. I mean, it depends on how you describe problem. There's been some that I worked that I would not put in the same category as a drug dealer. It's so different. And if they weren't selling to kids, and this is just my opinion, if they weren't selling to kids and they weren't part of a organization, I don't really care. There's a lot worse things they could be dealing with. My problem is when they're selling to teenagers, because teenagers have no freaking clue what they're doing, and they start taking that at 16, 17 years old, and their hormones are screwed up for the rest of their life, and there's no fixing that. You can't fix it. And also, I know the correlation of steroid use in teenagers and taking their own lives. There's a big correlation there. Very large percentage. It's horrible. So I have a big problem with that. Or, like I said, the ones that are running major organizations making multi-millions doing it. But I'm telling you, if you buy that stuff off the street, and unless it's pure testosterone, you're buying it off the street because pharmacies don't even make it. The good stuff, it's not made medically in the United States. So this stuff's getting cooked up in somebody's garage. 2 of the labs that we busted that I worked were extravagantly clean, and they used clean equipment, like they were very meticulous with it. And these were 2 of the really big ones. But there was a couple that we busted in trailer in single wide trailer park, mobile homes. And I would pick up a vial from those labs. You could look in it and you could see dog hairs and stuff floating around in there. And that's what people were shooting into their body. It's freaking crazy. And then they get these horrible infections and staph infections from it. And it's not good. It's crazy. I'm telling you, if you take that stuff off the street, you're crazy. Because you have no idea what you're putting in your body because you don't know. You don't know if they did it right. You don't know you don't know. It's crazy. But I'm telling you, some of the nastiest labs I busted was steroid labs. And it was this, I remember specifically one trailer in, I think it was in Bibb County, Alabama. And it was the nastiest trailer that you could imagine. And they had every pet in the world. And they had snakes, they had dogs, they had cats, they had, what else? Birds, tons of pets in this house. Dog feces all over the place. Like walking down the hall, you stepped in dog feces. And they were cooking roids in there. And that was some of the ones we would hold up the bottle, some of the vials to the light, and you could see, dog hair, whatever kind of hairs, all kinds of stuff in there. And they were selling a lot. So there's no telling how many people was putting that crap into their body. You're crazy if you do that. You're absolutely nuts. And if you buy it offline, you're not getting real stuff. It's fake. 100% of the time. If you think you can get online and buy roids and they're sending you actual roids, you're getting scammed. You're completely getting scammed. I promise you that. So just stay away from it. It's not worth the chances you're going to take in it. And now you can, if you're a man over 30, you need to get your testosterone checked. Go to the doctor, go to a HRT clinic, check, and they give you testosterone, and that's so much safer and better, and you keep your blood checked all the time, and it's actually a pretty crazy drug to just do off the street. Dude I worked with back in the early 2000s with nearly died from sepsis from dirty roids. He was a married father of 3. Yeah, no, I've seen it tons of times. And like I said, some of those labs that I busted, that makes complete sense to me. Oh my God, they're so gross. Yes, Neely. Yes. I was constantly, when I was watching that pot, I was constantly going, oh my God, are you kidding me? It's crazy. Yeah, 98% of roids you have to inject. There are certain types that you can take pills, but that's even worse. They're horrible on your liver. Taking any kind of roids and pills is horrible on your liver. A lot of roids are horrible on your liver anyway, but if you take them in pill form, it's even way worse. So most bodybuilders and stuff like that, they only inject. They're never going to take pills because they know how horrible on your liver and stuff it is. There's well, I'm not going to say the name. I don't need to tell too much information. There's the one certain steroid that's very popular, and it will literally jack you could have perfect blood pressure, and you take that, and 3 days later, you're having to be on blood pressure medicine. And if you're not, you're going to end up with a stroke soon. It jacks your blood pressure up so high. And I know guys, when I was working, some of the guys that I worked when I was working undercover on it knew this and would purposely go and stack up on blood pressure medicine before they started taking it, and then take it and then take extra blood pressure medicine. That's how crazy these freaking idiots are. Crazy. And now, and in all seriousness with the roids, if you have teenage sons, obviously for sure, talk to them about the dangers of the mess. Because I've seen it take down some young teenagers that would never in their life do a normal hard drug, but to them it's very different, but they don't have a clue what it's doing to them. Again, number one, their hormones are screwed up for the rest of their life. It's never going to get fixed. They're going to have to take synthetic hormones for the rest of their life if they want to feel any normal. And again, the things it does mentally to younger teenagers is horrible. And there's been studies done on this. This is really bad. So it is something, steroids are something that needs to be talked about more, and the dangers to teenagers today. And it is something that nobody talks about. When I used to go around to all the high schools and speaking, I always went in, had a long thing about roids, and I've had quite a few come up to me after and be like, I got a buddy that's taking that, and I was going to, but when you started talking about it, I'm not going to mess with that stuff. So it needs to be talked about a lot more. And most people just don't understand it, don't know anything about it, which is understandable, but it is something that needs to be. If you have teenage sons, I'm telling you, talk to them. And I'll make a video describing all of this. I need to do that anyway. I'll make a warning video on the dangers to teenagers, stuff like that, and younger. I mean, even 20-something-year-olds. It's just they have no idea what they're doing to themselves, and you can't fix it. There's not a gym in Tuscaloosa you can't go to and buy it, probably. And that's how two of the big cases that I worked undercover on, that's what I did. I would go start working out at a new gym, and it would take me about a day to figure out and find out who the dealer was in there. And then I'd approach them a day or so later and be buying from them within the week. One I worked a long time on was literally he owned a gym. Yes, thank you for saying that, Miranda. Yeah, they call it gear. That's the slang for it. They don't walk around saying steroids, but gear. So if you hear that word or you see a text message of your kid or something, and they're talking about gear, that's what they're talking about, 100%. Yeah, at some point soon, I'll make a video going into detail about things to look for, and then words that they use. All the different kinds. You've got trend, deca, test. I mean, there's quite a few different ones. Win. They all have longer names, but those are the street names that they call them. Trenbolone is one of the worst for your body. It's literally a horse steroid, and it's one of the most. It's not one of the. It is the most popular steroid by far, and it's literally a horse steroid, but it is horrible for your body, horrible. And for a teenager to take it, they're asking for strokes, heart attacks before they're 30. I went to sad story, and I'm not going to say much details because probably people on here knew him. But a guy was really close that I went to college with, worked out with all the time in college. Super cool guy, nicest guy in the world. Was going to be very successful. He was a bodybuilder. And when I was in college, his roommate came in their apartment one night and found him dead. And he had I think he had a blood clot, something like that. But huge guy, big bodybuilder, super nice guy, very intelligent. He did too much roids and lost his life very young. Very sad. And again, in today's time, there's no excuse for anybody, especially a grown man, to take this stuff off the street. There's no excuse because all the TRT clinics around and the people that run those know what they're doing. They know what they're talking about. Your regular doctor is not going to know anything about this stuff either. They know nothing about testosterone. They know nothing about. They don't know anything about this stuff. You have to go to. So if you're an older man or woman. If you're over 35, you need to go get your hormones checked. Tons of issues can be solved with getting your hormones worked out. Your regular doctor does not know anything about hormones. They don't. I don't care what they say. They don't. If they're honest with you, they'll tell you that. But most of the TRT doctors do. And they can test you and literally change your life in a week. And it's all menopause is. Like women no longer have to go through the effects of menopause if they don't want to. You can go to the doctor and get the hormones, and you don't have to live through that. And there's still so many women that do. I don't understand it, but you don't have to. So going to a real doctor, if you're older, going to a real doctor, it will change your life. I mean, literally life changing. Younger kid, teenager, early 20s, and using stuff off the street, it'll take your life. Very big difference. And I imagine one problem now with so many prescribed testosterone that it probably is easier for younger kids and stuff to get their hands on it now. And I don't know that this is a problem. I'm just guessing here. Honestly, I don't know because the TRT clinics they were just starting to pop up and stuff when I was working narcotics. But now that I think about it, it's probably a lot easier. So you definitely need to make sure your teenager understands and that so many teenagers will, even if it's just pure testosterone, and say it came from a pharmacy, so that that's clean. But for a teenager to put that in their body, they are screwing their hormones up very badly. There's a decent chance, if they do it long enough, they will never have kids. And there's no way to fix that. That's happened to a lot of people. But they will some kid takes it from his dad, from their medicine cabinet, and him and his friends probably watch a YouTube video and they take a shot and maybe they take another one, and maybe they take one for 5 or 6 weeks or something. And there's other things you have to take to keep your hormones in balance, and they don't take those other things. And so when they come off, that's what puts them in a deep depression. That's why the suicide rate is so high amongst young men, teenagers, and 20-year-olds with steroid use and taking their own life. Because your hormones are a very big part of your mental. So, and when they come crashing off of that, so if a 19-year-old takes 6-8 weeks of even if it's just pure testosterone, then their natural production of testosterone shuts down. It will shut down. And so when they come off of it, they go from their testosterone being 1,500 to 2,000 to 30. And they're going to be heavily depressed. They're not even going to want to get out of bed. They're going to be so tired all the day. But they're going to be very, very badly depressed. And they're probably not going to understand what the hell's going on. But it happens a lot. And that if they just do it once or twice, it can be fixed. You need to go to the right doctor, and it can be fixed. But if they take them for long enough, you're not going to fix it. They're just going to have to take synthetic for the rest of their lives. You can't go to a real doctor. I don't mean it like that. You can't go to a regular doctor if you're a female or a male, really. I mean, I wouldn't suggest anybody going to a regular doctor and talking about hormone replacement therapy. They don't know what they're talking about. They used to think, so regular doctors used to think that anyone taking testosterone, whether it be a 40-year-old that really needed it, whoever, that it increased the chance of heart attacks, increased the chance of heart disease. That's what they used to say. Turns out, low testosterone in males was what was giving a lot of males heart attacks and heart disease. Having low testosterone is very bad for your health. In males, for sure. Very bad for your health. The study they were going off of was done back in the 60s or 70s. And it was done on 80-year-olds, like 10, 80-year-olds. And so they were giving these 80-year-olds testosterone, and then in 5 years, they'd have a heart attack. And they were blaming it on the testosterone. Well, no, it had nothing to do with the testosterone. They were freaking 80 years old. That literally, I'm not making that up. I don't remember the numbers. Like, I don't remember how many it was, but they were 80-year-olds in the 80s. And that's the study they were going off, that they went off of for like 30 years in the medical field. And so that's what I meant, Tammy, that hormones, I'm not saying hormones will prevent menopause. It will stop you won't have to deal with the symptoms. That's what I was trying to say. But thank you for making that clear. But yeah, I don't want to be misunderstood there. But yeah, you don't have to deal with those symptoms. There's no reason to now. If you're taking both, it is double trouble for your body. If you're taking both what? Now, the steroid shot that they give you when you're sick, that's a completely different. That's a cortical steroid. Not to get too technical here, but that's a completely different substance than what we're talking about. They're literally completely different. They're not the same in any way whatsoever. But we're talking about anabolic steroids. Cortico steroids and anabolic are two completely different things. But yeah, you don't need to take. I mean, please don't. First off, do not take medical advice from me. Let me be clear. Do not take medical advice from me. I'm not a doctor. Do not take medical advice from me. I can't be more clear on that. But yes, no, you don't need to take. You need to take a few corticosteroids as you can in your life, because they're not good for you for a lot of reasons when you take a lot of it. Not at all. Now, some people have to take them for certain conditions. Again, you just got to listen to your doctor on that and stuff. But research this stuff on your own. You'd be surprised of how many doctors don't care about you. You'd be surprised of how many doctors will just prescribe you something because they make more money prescribing certain medicines. You do need to, and we live in a day and time now where we can research on our own. You need to research stuff on your own. Don't just take your doctor's word for it. That's crazy. No, absolutely. There is not, like Jennifer said, there is absolutely nothing wrong with getting HRT if it's needed, and you're getting from a HRT doctor, whether it be a doctor or a nurse practitioner, whatever. They know what they're doing. They know what they're talking about. And most importantly, you're getting your blood drawn every 3 months. That's very important. But if you're over 40 at least, you need to go get your hormones checked, male or female, because it can change your life for the better. There's a lot of misunderstood things. There's a lot of bad myths about HRT now, that just because people don't understand it. But I mean, pretty much every friend I have will tell you the same thing. It's changed their life. And there's certain people that are more. So I talk about this pretty openly to friends and stuff like that. There's certain people. If you shoot firearms a lot, and I'm trying to think how to explain this to where everybody can understand it and not be too technical. The gases that's released from shooting those firearms are really bad for you. One of the things that they will do is drop your testosterone if you're a male. Oh, well, male or female. They will kill your testosterone. That's one. There's certain other conditions. With me, when I was like 35, I've always worked out since I was like 15 years old, all the time. Always been in great shape. And I was like 35, top shape. And I just started where, like, I didn't want to work out. I didn't even want to go to work. And this went on for like a month or two. And it was so bad. I was convinced I had cancer and I was dying. I mean, just to be honest. I told my wife that. I was like, there's something bad wrong with me. And so I went to the doctor and my testosterone had dropped. It was extremely low. And I was like, why? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Why? Like, how did this happen like this? And my doctor then didn't know, but they just started giving me HRT then. And I mean, I felt like a completely new person within 3 weeks. But that's when I really got curious about what's going on. And so I started researching it a ton. I'd already been working a lot of, I already knew a lot about testosterone and roids and stuff from working them, but not the medical side. So I started researching this stuff really in depth and found out that tons of special ops, almost all special ops guys, by the time they're 35, sometimes even younger, their testosterone is nothing. And a lot of that is from the gases from the weapons and explosions and things like that. There's other things that will cause it too. Constant adrenaline dumps. So when I was 35, I was coming up on near the end of my narcotics career. So I'd been in narcotics for quite a while, for a long time. And the whole time in narcotics, I'm going through, there were days I'd go through 3 or 4 adrenaline dumps a day. And never failed, I was getting 3 or 4 adrenaline dumps a week, nonstop, for years. Turns out that's really bad for you. And so from my research and the doctors I've spoken with now that actually know this stuff, my TRT doctors, HRT doctors, and a couple of them are really good friends of mine, that's more than likely what caused it, all those things. So if you participate in any of those kind of things or deal with those, you really need to go to the doctor and get your hormones checked because they could be so out of whack. They've literally now, I mean, pretty much like in the military, I don't know how open I should be about this, but pretty much all special ops now, their team doctors, every one of them's on HRT, every single one of them, because that's where all this research, that's where it came from, was from the military and these guys. It was happening to all of them. And so finally doctors started looking into it and researched and figured all this out. But it can change your life. If your hormones are all out of whack and then they get in whack, your life has changed. You're like, oh my God. Well, anabolic, like I said, testosterone and stuff, if you need it and you're getting seen by the right doctor and they're keeping your blood levels and checking stuff, not only is it not bad for you, but it's really good for you. It will prevent you from getting a lot of diseases, such as heart disease. I mean, it prevents a ton of health problems. Yeah, pretty much all high stress jobs. But yeah, all that stuff, that will drop your hormones very badly. Yeah, just the main point is make sure you're actually going to a doctor, and particularly a HRT doctor, so they know what they're doing, know what they're talking about, and they're going to make you do all the right things. Again, you're going to get your blood drawn every 3 months, like clockwork. And that's good for a lot of, if you're older, that's good anyway, because that way you can catch a lot of things early if you end up getting anything. So, but they're going to check your blood levels every 3 months. I mean, it's really healthy. It's really good for you. No, the peptides have gotten off the charts. I don't know where that came from or what happened. I've been taking peptides at least since I was 35. And when I started taking certain ones, I started taking then was so expensive. I was getting them from the doctor, but insurance doesn't cover any of it. And I mean, at one point, I was paying like $1,500 a month for peptides. Now they were life changing, but the hell just happened? I hope you are there. I don't know. My monitors all just went blank. But, and back then, not many, the reason I knew about them was because I'd started researching all the hormone stuff and figured out, oh my God, there's these like miracle drugs that keep you young forever. And when I started taking them, they were amazing. But then hardly anybody understood them, knew anything about them. And then that brings us to today, where Jack down the street in every neighborhood is selling peptides out of his house. Don't buy peptides from those people. No offense to those people, but that's crazy. You can go to if you have that right HRT doctor, they will get you peptides too that come from an actual licensed pharmacy. And I've got some people that I know decently well that I see on social media selling this stuff, and I'm like, why are you selling peptides? Like you're a mechanic, and people are buying peptides from you. I don't understand that. It's crazy. That's pretty funny, Kaylee. Anyway, I have no idea how we got in that discussion. Again, I just pretend to be a doctor sometimes, but I'm not, so make sure you understand that. Don't take medical advice from me. But no, don't take peptides from Jack down the street. I don't understand it. There are so many people doing it. That's crazy. And now they're very affordable through HRT doctors now. I'll tell you a secret. If it's male or female, if you're over 40, you need to get your hands on some Samorlin. That will change your life. And you can get that in a lot of places, a lot of doctors now, HRT clinics. And it's way cheaper now than it used to be. But wow. You will, within 2 months of taking Samorlin, you will feel, I'm not exaggerating whatsoever. You can ask anyone that's taken this like they're supposed to. You will feel like you're 15 years old again. You will have zero aches in your body most of the time. I'm telling you, it's life-changing. And that's male or female. And it's a peptide. It's very safe. Again, if you're taking it from an actual HRT doctor that's getting it from a real pharmacy. Don't trust stuff you're buying from Jack. It's probably not real, number one. Number two, you have no idea where it's made or who made it. But if you get your hands on some real Samorlin, wow. You will love me forever for telling you that if you've never done it before. Now, you have to be very disciplined because it's something that you have to take every single day, every night. And you can't. Again, don't take this medical advice from me. I'm just telling you what you do, but don't take this from me. Get this information from your doctor. But like with that, with a lot of peptides, but especially like Samorlin, you can't eat any carbs within 2 hours before you take it, and you can't eat any within 2 hours after, and you need to take it at night because you need to take it right before you go to bed. And there's some other peptides that when I do take Samorlin, I get mixed in with it, and it makes you extremely hungry. So it's pretty miserable actually when you take it that night. But again, after you take it for a couple months, you will, my God, it'll change your life. Yeah, no, I'll make a video, especially about the warnings of roids with the teenagers and stuff like that for sure. I've not even thought about that till we were talking about it tonight, but that is something that needs to be talked about a lot more with teenagers. Oh, I almost forgot. Okay, I'm going to give y'all a sneak peek of the podcast that I'm going to be releasing Friday. Now, let me just show you the clip, and we'll go from there. I haven't fully saved it yet. Hold on. I should have done this earlier. I don't even know if it'll do it when I'm live because my computer may not have enough juice. Let me see. Now, let me just pull the clip from my editing software here. Let's see. I apologize, but this will be worth it. This is very interesting. It's acting very strange. What in the world? Well, I don't know why it's acting like that. Hold on. Let me see if this controlling behaviors or that's not going to work. I apologize. Here, let me do that this way. This will definitely work. It's just going to take me a second. Okay, it looks like it may take about 2 minutes. So again, I apologize. I didn't realize it wouldn't let me play it from that. I don't know why it won't. So while that's doing that, let me go ahead and give you a little what we're about to watch. Hopefully you've all seen the podcast I did on Travis Burks. He is the Jefferson County, Alabama Sheriff's deputy that his son, Carson Burks, has been posting a lot of things about and very concerning videos. And Travis is obviously a POS and an abuser. He abuses his kids. He abuses his wife. Tons of issues. He should never have a badge again. He shouldn't still be in law enforcement. Thankfully, Jefferson County yesterday put out a statement saying that they were investigating it, thankfully. I don't see how that man keeps his job. If he does, we're going to scream even louder because it's a big problem. And I've learned more things about this guy. He is as bad as it gets. So his son, Carson, agreed to be on my podcast. And we recorded that podcast yesterday evening. For some reason, and I don't have a clue why, but Carson had us live on his end on TikTok. I had no idea. I don't know why he was purposely being sneaky about it. I've tried and I've talked to some other people like, why do you think and I don't know. But it's not cool to have somebody on live when they have no idea they're on live. That's not cool. Now, it's not like I said anything that I wouldn't want anybody hearing. I was interviewing the guy. But simple things, I could have, because I know I'm going to edit it, I could have said my kids' names. I don't say my kids' real names. Something like that. Again, you should never have somebody on live when they don't know they're on live. That's just not cool. And again, I don't know why he wouldn't just tell me. I probably, more than likely, wouldn't have had a problem with it. And then I would have known, and I've just known to make sure not to say something like that. But I had no idea. That brings us to this. So hopefully I can play the clip now. Let me see. Carson, before we go, so we're 50 minutes into the interview. And I've been interviewing him. We've been talking about his dad and all that stuff. His raising, how his family home was, all that stuff. Well, when I investigate things, I investigate them. And I'm non-biased. Like that's one thing that I try my best to be non-biased no matter what. Well, I found out some very concerning and bad things about Carson. Unfortunately, it looks like Carson is more like his dad than anyone would hope. I hate to say that, but that's facts are facts. One of my main concerns is Carson's been raising a lot of money. He's had a GoFundMe. His last GoFundMe raised over $5,000. My concern is I don't think most people, if anyone that gave money to that, knew what it was really for. And I'm not going to say Carson lied about what it was for, but he definitely held back information purposely. And I'm going to be putting all this out, obviously. One thing I want to be very clear on. I don't care, and this is what I told Carson. Look, I don't care if you're the worst person ever. None of that takes away how horrible your father is. Travis Burks is a POS. He is an abuser. We know all this stuff. So that has nothing to do with Carson as far as if Carson's the worst person ever, that should not take away how horrible his dad is. And I want to be clear on that. But I want people to know where their money's really going. Because at this point now, I've talked to quite a few that gave money and they had no idea. And they're pretty pissed. Now, when I said he wasn't necessarily lying about it, because he had on his GoFundMe, it was for attorney fees. And we're going to get into that, and you'll see what he tells me. What most people didn't know, or if anybody, that it's because Carson himself is facing a very serious felony and may go to prison. And what I believe that money is for is to pay that attorney. Over what? Over Carson and his girlfriend beating a poor girl so bad that she had a broken bone, black eyes, bruises, cuts, scrapes. They beat her pretty bad. She's 5'3", 5'3" tall. Carson is 6'4". And it wasn't just him, it was him and his girlfriend. They went to this girl's house. She didn't even know them. The only thing she was guilty of, she was in a relationship with Travis, who she had no idea was back home abusing family. According to my sources, anyway. I've not talked to this girl, but talked to some pretty reliable sources. Now, I have the police report. I have the pictures. I have videos. Everything I'm describing, that fucking happened. And Carson completely lied to me. Even after I pushed him on it. And so I'm not a fan of Carson that he goes around beating women either. And yes, he was raised in a horrible home. A lot of us was. That's not a fucking excuse to go and do the same thing. Now, Carson has a lot of excuses about why. There's no excuse. But I want people to know who he really is. Most importantly, I want people to know. And if you still want to give money to him, that's fine. That's your choice. I don't care. I'm not telling people not to give money to him. I'm not. That's up to you. But people deserve to know exactly what their money's going for. And like I told Carson, I feel like that's part of my responsibility as what I do to make sure. And so, again, where I'm going to start this clip, we're about 50 minutes in. We've had a good interview. We've talked all about his dad, his growing up, all that stuff. A lot of bad things, all that stuff. And then I ask him this. Carson, before we go further with your dad, there's something else I want to ask you about because everyone deserves consistency from anyone speaking out about abuse. So, according to a police report dated June the 19th of this year, 2026, and this is according to the police report, first off, body language. You see his eyes when I brought that date up? Watch his eyes as soon as I say it. Because everyone deserves consistency from anyone speaking out about abuse. So, according to a police report dated June the 19th of this year, 2026, you see his eyes get wide open. He was like, "Oh, wow. Didn't know you knew about that." It gets worse. And this is according to the police report.
Hold that thought really quick. Sorry, my brother's trying to call me. Give me 1 second.
So as you can see, I thought this is a very strange time for him to get a phone call. Right when I bring this up. That's not a coincidence. But he said his brother was calling. I knew his brother wasn't calling because of the timing, but I didn't know exactly what he was doing. Well, once I got finished with the entire recording, I had some messages from people and I found out what he was doing. That's when I found out he had us live until now, because he didn't want the people on his live hearing this. And according to a police report dated June the 9th. Obviously, this is video from his live that somebody had taken for me. Of this year, 2026. And this is according to the police report.
Hold that thought really quick. Sorry, my brother's trying to call me. Give me 1 second. Come on. Good Lord. Let me call you back.
So what Carson was actually doing was turning his live off. Because he's like, uh-oh, I don't want these 700 people that's on my live to hear this. And so then it's okay for him to turn his live off. Not to even tell me before that we were on live. Because I'm pretty pissed about that. I would never do that to somebody. And nobody should do that to anybody. That's not right. And then to be this sneaky about it, because he never told me we were live. And after the interview got over, and I had messages from people saying, hey, I don't think you know this, but you're live. I messaged him, and I asked him straight up, and I've still not got a response from him. I mean, I know the truth because we just saw the fucking video. But listen to how he plays this off.
Good Lord.
He turns his live off, and then listen to what he says, where I can hear.
Let me call you back right quick. Okay. Bye.
Let me call you back right quick. You never answered the fucking phone, Carson. I just saw your video. So he turns his live off, and then he's still playing off. Let me call you back. Okay, bye. Well, funny, he never said hello or anything else. Again, I don't know why he was being sneaky about this.
Sorry.
No problem at all. So, according to a police report dated June the 19th of this year, and again, this is according to the police report, you and your girlfriend went to the home of a woman previously involved with your father, and it describes an assault that left her with a broken bone, a black eye, numerous bruises and cuts. And
that is sorry.
Can you walk me through your side of what happened that day?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't want to go into too much.
I bet you don't.
Because it is a legal matter at this point. But those accusations of me or of anybody giving someone a black eye or breaking a bone are false. Those are not true.
That's a lie. I've seen the pictures myself. That's a lie. And he knows it. And I don't know. Let me tell you something. If you're going to come on my podcast and lie, good luck to you. Not the smartest thing to do. But if you do come on my podcast and you lie, I'm going to call your ass out. I don't care who you are. If you're going to lie, don't come on my podcast. It's not going to work out well for you. I do this shit for a living.
The only reason that I was even at where I was at was because my dad had given a box to my brother of stuff that was old stuff for me, and I didn't want it. And 3 days prior, he had given my mom a black eye. So, no, I don't want your shit. And so,
So then you decided, I'm going to go give his girlfriend a black eye.
At the time, me and my mom were talking, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go give it to him. He's living, he lived there with this lady. And so I went by there, pull up, nobody's home, and went to drop a box off, and didn't drop a box off. And it's, yeah, nothing really else out of that.
Nothing really else out of that. Seems like you just left a lot out there, Carson. So listen to his side. First off, it doesn't make sense. I talk about the word really a lot. I love when people use that word. Nothing really happened. That means literally something really happened. That's the only time somebody says that. If somebody says, I mean, they don't really drink, but that means they drink. I didn't really scream. That means you were screaming. Nothing really happened. Well, yeah, it did. That's 100%. So I want to make sure I understand. Are you saying the police report is inaccurate?
Yes.
Are you saying nothing happened?
There. What do you mean exactly?
It's all I could do to keep a straight face at this point, by the way. Because I wanted to just call him out, but I'm good at keeping my composure when I have to, and that paid off. I said, so you're saying nothing happened? Well, what do you mean? What do you think I mean? That's, in other words, I don't know what to say here. Like I said, the report says that the female had a broken bone, a black eye, numerous bruises and cuts.
Yeah, that is not true.
When I'm asking, I'm literally looking at the fucking pictures and the full report. Yeah, that's not true.
That is not true. But yeah, that is not true.
Yeah. Even if I didn't know the truth here, I would know that he's full of shit because this is textbook.
Sorry, I don't want to get too much into it.
So because there's witnesses listed on it that say they saw the same thing, and then and this is all per the report. I've not spoken to any of these people,
right?
But 2 witnesses that I think were neighbors, and then the victim are all saying these things, and she definitely had injuries, quite a few. So what happened? How did that happen?
Well, I can't get too much into it just because of the legal route with it. I'll be able to comment on it.
But Carson, you just said earlier that nothing really happened. So if nothing happened, what do you mean you can't get deep into it? Very confused, Carson. Not really, but
eventually. But I had to hire. I had to not hire. I had to.
You see, he's starting, and this is why I wanted to do this like this. He's starting now to go, fuck, I don't know what to say. I was not expecting this. What am I supposed to say? And he's probably got 10,000 things running through his head right now. And he says, I had to hire an attorney. Okay. Makes sense. Then why does he immediately go, I mean, I had to speak with my attorney. Do you know why he said that? Because he's probably already realizing now this guy's about to start hitting me on this money, and I've been lying to people about it. So I don't want to say I hired an attorney.
Get with my lawyer and discuss that, and he told me not to comment on it.
But Carson, that's not what you said in the beginning. When I first brought it up, You didn't say that. You said, yeah, nah, that didn't happen. That's false. Nothing really happened. I never even set foot on her property. Carson, it's funny that I got video of you on her property. Am I seeing things? Don't come on my podcast and lie to me. I'm going to call your ass out. And don't scam people out of money. Pretty simple rules to live by.
For now.
The report's pretty concerning. It says that you and your girlfriend basically jumped this girl, and she's listed as 5'3". So very small person. And it reports that y'all two came to her house and jumped her, and that
Not true at all.
you kicked her while she was laying down, while she was down on the ground numerous times. You punched her. You spit. I think spit in her face. And again, I think there's 2 witnesses listed as neighbors that observed this.
Mm-hmm.
So that it's pretty serious.
Right. Yeah. No. For sure. For sure. Yeah. That is not true. No. And for context,
What's not true, Carson?
this woman, I won't say names. She has shown up to my.
This is where now he's like, okay, I'm in this. So now I just need to try to justify me going and jumping this 5'3" completely innocent girl and beating the shit out of her.
My parents' house on the Ring doorbell camera that my mama sent me 4 times.
He's lying his ass off. I don't know. I've not talked to him, but I'm telling you, I'm reading him now, and I was reading him at the time. He's lying his ass off. He is looking for answers here. He's making up shit now. I highly doubt any of this shit happened. I don't know that for sure, but I would bet everything none of this shit happened.
She showed up at my mom's house maybe a month ago, threatening to beat my mom's ass. They got into an altercation as well in the front yard of my parents' house, and she has countless times told my mom over the phone and my mom on text that she's going to beat her ass. But yeah, no, never even, to clarify, never stepped foot on her property, public road. Never had any ill intention. I don't care to know her. I've actually, for context, spoken to this woman. She reached out to me on TikTok, and we had a very normal conversation. She told me everything I wanted to know. She asked me some questions. We talked on the phone, a very normal conversation.
So you have such a problem with her. You just went through this list of things that she's tried to beat your mom. She keeps showing at your mom's house, and she's threatening your mom and calling her all these things. And then, I mean, you've had a 2 to 3 hour conversation with her, and it was completely normal, and y'all got along. Carson's not making any sense here. Again, if you just listen to what people are saying, you can pick up when you're like, that doesn't make sense.
We talked on the phone for at least 2, maybe 3 hours. She is not, clearly, she has been in an ongoing relationship with my dad for going on 3 years now.
Okay. You literally just said your dad was living with her. So again, this is problems you have with your dad, Carson. You know why you went and beat this little girl? Because you could. Because you're a fucking coward just like your dad, and you didn't want to do it with him, so you went and you and you've got tons of people feeling sorry for you, dude. People sending you money left and right.
While my dad was married, and her very much well knowing, he spent a lot of time at her house while on patrol as well. So I know that there is going to be, whoever is going to try to come after me, come after anybody.
Of course, she didn't go after you. You went to her house. And she didn't even know you. She'd never even seen you before. And you claim you went to drop a box off that your dad gave to your brother, and you didn't want it. So then you were taking it to her house, but then you said, but I didn't drop the box off. What? Nothing he is saying is honest. Nothing he is saying makes any sense. He's lying his ass off. Carson, you're a fucking idiot for coming on my podcast and thought you were just going to be able to lie your ass off to me and me not call you out and catch it. Like, it's the only thing I know what to say. And on top of this, being sneaky about having me on live, why not just tell me I was on your live, dude? I don't understand that. I don't.
But my dad actually was there. I don't know if that was in the police report.
No, Dad wasn't. But let me tell you what Dad was doing. While his girlfriend is getting the shit beat out of her by these two, Dad drives by at least twice in his patrol vehicle and does not stop. In fact, he never stops. Fact, that's one of the main things that IA and Jefferson County Sheriff's Office is investigating him for right now. Because he's on camera, driving by at least twice while they have her on the ground, kicking her, spitting on her, beating her, and he doesn't even stop.
Or not. But he actually pulled up in his patrol car.
He didn't pull up.
And
he drove by twice.
Didn't say a word, didn't do anything. And yeah. So
yeah,
that's about as far in detail I can get with that. But no.
I'm sure it is.
No.
My concern is with, and I can understand why all that would make you angry for sure. It's a horrible thing to have to go through. But my concern is all attention is on your father, who I would tell anyone, everything I've seen, people I've spoken with, he's a horrible human.
Yes, sir.
I have nothing for him. He 100% is an abuser. The list could go on. And then I get a hold of this information that says you beat this female, this very small female, broke a bone, black eye, bruises. What you swallow when I say that? Right. When I say broke a bone, what just deep swallow? Beat this female, this very small female, broke a bone, black eye, bruises. You're facing serious, and he's agreeing with me. He knows he did all this. You see him just shake his head. He's agreeing with me. It's felony. You're facing prison time over this. That's my concern.
Right.
If you're out doing the same thing that your father's been doing, that's not okay.
No, yeah, absolutely. But these are also all accusations, for sure.
Now, and this is not an accusation or anything. Do you currently have a GoFundMe?
Right.
Okay. And what specifically is that for? I've not seen it, but I have seen it. What specifically is that for?
That's for me to get an attorney.
For?
I need to represent myself just for future things that go on.
don't you all raise money for an attorney to represent yourself just for future things that may go on? Isn't that what you all do? I mean, that's what everybody does. You get online and you raise money from innocent people for attorney fees just for in case future things happen. And you're going to see it. Carson completely denies that's what this money's going for. Carson, you're going to get investigated for fraud, buddy. And the best thing you can do is send all these people their money back. Please take that advice. You scammed a lot of people out of money. You need to send their money back. If they want to send it back to you knowing the real cause now, that's fine. Again, I'm not judging anybody for that. That's fine. But Carson, you took a lot of these people's money under false pretenses. You know that. And then you lied your ass off to me. That's why I made sure to get a straight answer out of you. So when you're investigated, you can't deny it because you came on my podcast and you were very clear and said, no, that is not what this money's going towards. For one thing, Carson, I didn't ask one fucking question I didn't already know the answer to. But what I'm asking you is that for you to hire an attorney or to pay for an attorney. Look how nervous he is now. With his mouth.
Just for future things that go on.
But what I'm asking you is that for you to hire an attorney or to pay for an attorney for this charge that this serious felony charge you're facing?
No, this was for other things, like pursuing anything to do with my dad.
Because you said you have an attorney for this. Again, I already know. And I've given him chance after chance to just be honest, and he won't. This case, right?
Right. That's why I can't further comment on anything to do with that.
I just want to make sure that people that are giving the money know exactly where it's going, because that's my responsibility to make sure no one's giving money to something they don't realize or anything like that. And I'm
right.
I'm
and I
strictly
wouldn't
like I'm
publicly.
I'm asking
No, yeah.
so everyone knows.
Yeah, no. I mean, I thought I made that pretty clear with my posts and everything regarding that.
Just so I'll make sure I'm understanding exactly. I mean, I say it 4 or 5 times, and he won't be honest. Exactly what you're saying.
This is wait. This I feel like is very off topic from what we.
Is it? No, Carson, I had you come on my podcast to talk about your life, buddy. And that's why. So you scamming people out of money is not off topic. And you're not going to get me off the topic, as you see.
We're originally talking about that. Because, like, I can't
when people are
no,
but
yeah, for sure.
I have a bunch of people that are messaging me that are asking this question. Hey, I've given money to this. Is this really going towards what he's saying, or is this money going towards him to pay for an attorney to fight this felony charge he's facing? And so that's all I want to be clear on.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, but I've made it pretty clear on everything like that. I'm not trying to.
So that money for that GoFundMe. See, he's trying not to answer the question. I'm not going to let him do that. You're going to answer the question, dude. Fund me is in, like I said, just so I make sure that I understand and clear. That money is not going towards paying for your attorney for this assault case.
Right.
Okay.
But
and I completely understand that there's legal reasons that you can't get into certain details and all that stuff. I don't hold that against you.
No, yeah. I also wanted to, yeah, okay, yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Now, what are your biggest concerns or fears right now as you speak out again about your father?
That he could kill my mother.
I mean, that's about as worst of a fear you can get. And like you said, Jefferson County Sheriff's Office has put out a statement, and I think that was put out today, right? I saw it today.
Yes.
Very vague, but they're going to be very vague. And yeah, Mary, that's the thing. We went back and Carson started asking for money right after this incident. So that's why he was raising the money. And he lied to people. He lied to a lot of people. And that's not right. Again, first off, GoFundMe won't even let you raise money for that reason. But most importantly, he has been very dishonest about this. And people think they're giving money because what people have told me, I don't know how many people are thinking this, but quite a few, that his dad is suing him for speaking out, and he's had to hire a lawyer for that. Now, I'm not saying Carson has said that. I don't know. But I've got an inbox, quite a few people that think that. Again, I don't know where they got that from exactly. I'm not saying Carson said that, but Carson has definitely not told a soul about this and that he's had to hire an attorney because he's facing a serious felony. He has implied more times than not that that's not what the money is going, that money is going to help him and his mother against his father. That's what he's implied and probably actually said quite a few times. And that's not the truth. But at least they have now acknowledged, hey, we know what's going on, and they have stated in that press release that they put out that they are investigating this. So that's a good thing. And we're going to, now you're going to see when we wrap up the interview, Carson then spends about 15, 20 minutes begging me not to include this part on the podcast. And I tell him straight up, no, buddy, that's not happening. To stay on them to make sure that this doesn't get, and I'm not saying they would push it under the rug. I'm not saying that. I'm not going to know a lot more than I do. Or listeners, I had to go through that. What would you want them to?
Meant for that. Like people are supposed to love and.
Some people have told me
The way he grew up.
Not have a relationship at all with his parents.
I can't remember honestly, my whole life it's been.
I went through or question you wish more people would ask. One was right on top of this, and
legal purposes. At least that's what, if that's okay with him. I'd have to talk. I was also going to say,
on top of this, here it is when it starts. I'm not going to shut up about this until he is out of law enforcement.
I was also going to say, for legal purposes, I don't know if the accusations I'd have to talk with my lawyer, but I don't know if that can be a part of it. a part of the podcast, if that's okay with you. Just because.
Carson, I don't think you understand how this goes. This is my podcast. You don't get to tell me what can and can't be included on the podcast, buddy. Now, there's definitely certain situations where if I had somebody on a podcast and they requested something not be included, I would absolutely oblige that. But not when it's hiding, scamming from people, and not when you've been lying to people about what it is, because people deserve to know the truth.
Because, I mean, I'm not supposed to speak on anything that's legal purposes. At least that's what I've been told. I just don't know if until it's all accusations at the moment, but I don't know if legally I would want that to be, like posted out there
I'm
just
sure you
for
don't.
interference of people coming after me, as in
Yeah.
law enforcement. And
You mean like you went after this poor little girl?
he's gonna try to twist and turn things. I know he is.
Well,
I know how
here's
he
the
goes.
thing. What you have done has absolutely nothing to do with what he has done. You could be the worst. You could be a serial killer, and that's not going to make what he's done better.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Now,
Yeah,
people
no, I
like
mean, that makes
him
sense.
are always going to try, and we call that deflection. They're always going to act like everybody else has done worse things than them when they've done something really bad. And so no matter what, that's always going to happen.
Yeah, I was just, but do you think, because I don't want it to interfere with my personal life or people that aren't involved.
Well, Carson, you shouldn't have done it. So you shouldn't have done it, and you damn sure shouldn't have lied to people and tricked them into giving you money. That's what you shouldn't have done.
Involved in this situation, like involving my dad. So I don't want it to get off topic of accusations.
Yeah, I don't want any bad look on me. We just need to focus on my dad. It doesn't matter that I've done something bad. It doesn't matter that I've went and beat a female. Let's just focus on my dad. That's what this is all about. Yeah,
and
yeah.
People, you get what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah,
So I
no.
was just gonna
Oh, I
ask
get what you're saying.
if if that part could be left out for that reason. So like legally, I can't ask you to not include it. Basically,
I mean, no. I
would
you can ask me, but I'm not going to listen.
really prefer that. Just
Really prefer
because
that, he says.
I know that he is gonna want to throw as many things out there as possible.
I mean, we're going to stay on him. Again,
And I
don't
know
care
how
what you've
social
done.
media can be.
It takes nothing away from the evil piece of shit he is.
Well, yeah. I'm just saying in a sense of it would be better if it wasn't included.
My main platform is full transparency on everything. And
Right.
And so I have to stay true to who I am and my platform and not deter off of that, because then people are not going to trust me. I completely understand your concerns with that.
Right. Absolutely. Okay.
All right, man.
Gotcha.
I appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
All right. Agent D. Baker, Truth Recon. Carson, so there you go. And it is a good podcast. It's sad. All of it's sad. I'm not happy about having to do that. I wasn't looking forward to it. It sucks. But I'm not going to let people get lied to and scammed and people deserve to know who Carson really is. And again, they definitely deserve to know where their money's really going. And again, if they still want to give money, that's cool. I won't judge anybody for that. But it's not cool for him to lie to people about it. And when I look at all of this, and then again, the weird thing with him having me on his live on his end and me having no clue, and him literally sneaking around about it, I don't get that. That tells me a lot about Carson. Now, I know his dad's a piece of shit because I've talked to quite a few people, not just Carson. And we've seen the videos. But Carson is very manipulative. Very. And is he a victim? Absolutely. But that still, none of that gives him the right to go and do what he did. And you know, I'm just not a fan of a man that beats a woman. I don't care the circumstances. Not a fan of it. And there's no excuse. And I'm telling you, Carson, you need to refund all that money back from GoFundMe to those people. And then tell the real reason. And then again, if they want to give you money, that's cool. But if you don't refund all that money, you're going to end up in more serious trouble than you already are in. Because now I've got you. Telling. After I gave you 5 chances at least to tell the truth about it, you completely lying about where that money's really going. One way to fix that is to give the people their money back. Again, as of yesterday, he had raised over $5,000. I was told right after this that he pulled the GoFundMe link and stuff down from some of the social media stuff. I haven't looked myself, but some of my team told me that. I haven't checked to see if the GoFundMe's still up. I was expecting him to just take it down. He may have. I don't know. But he needs to refund the people their money back. No, Carson can't be honest. He's a manipulator. And again, I hate Carson grew up in what he grew up in. But he's not the only person that's gone through that. There's a lot of people, unfortunately. And this is one thing that people that know me know, one of my biggest pet peeves is people, as adults, blaming things that mistakes they make as an adult on their childhood. That doesn't fly with me. Because I lived through it myself. So I know it's not an excuse. But I know plenty of people use it as an excuse. Carson likes playing the victim. He's going to try to use that and ride that out as an excuse for everything he does from now on. Watch. Those handcuffs don't give a shit. Trust me with that. Mom's a victim. Mom is a victim of domestic violence. I'm not going to judge mom. I'm never going to judge a female that's in that. I can't imagine that. Travis Burks has been horrible to her. I mean, he's an abuser. He has kept her. He won't let her have a career. He wouldn't let her work. And at times when they would have to have extra money, he would make her go work. And then when she'd start making money, guess what? He would make her quit. It happened quite a few times because he wants her financially dependent on him. That's what abusers do. So for the last 15 years, he's pretty much made her sit at home. That way, she can be fully dependent on him. Obviously, he's beat her, God knows how many times. He's a horrible person. And instead of Carson going, you know what? I'm not going to be anything like that. He's using it as an excuse to be like his dad. And a lot of us see right through that. And I think when I put this out, hopefully a lot more people see it. Yeah, no, the dad is horrible. I mean, yes, the dad drove by at least twice while this was going on and didn't even stop. And Nessie, that's possible. I don't know, but it's possible that him and the dad was in on that together. I don't know. They're both screwed up. And I don't like seeing people scammed. I don't like seeing people get lied to. I don't like that. And Carson's done it to a lot of people lately. And the GoFundMe is for Carson's attorney fees because of he's facing an assault 2 charges, a very serious felony, for beating his dad's girlfriend. Him and his girlfriend went to her house, was waiting in her driveway. She's coming home, pulls into her driveway. She doesn't know who's in this car. She'd never even met Carson before. And she gets out. She's like, hey, can I help y'all? And they get out and beat the shit out of her. And she don't know what's going on. She just know 2 people just jumped her. She's 5'3". Carson's 6'4". I don't know the size of his girlfriend, but she's bigger than the dad's girlfriend. He spit in her face while she was laying down on the ground. He punched her numerous times. Then he kicked her while she was laying down on the ground. Him and the girlfriend was kicking her. She has at least one broken bone, black eye, numerous bruises, bad bruises all over her body. Some decently bad cuts that were bleeding. I mean, they beat the shit out of this poor girl. So Carson knows he's in serious trouble. Again, there's video, there's eyewitnesses. What made Carson think he could just lie? I don't know. When did this come out? Tonight. I'm the one that is putting it out. To my knowledge, nobody else has put this out. No, Carson's girlfriend is no better than him. And I don't know her. I don't have the final. I have the initial report. And her name is not in the initial report. It's just her description. But she's being charged as well. I do know that. This happened on June the 19th, so less than a month ago. And again, if you go back and you follow timelines with Carson, right after this is when he started asking for money for this attorney. But he has told no one about this. And I guess he thought nobody was going to find out. I don't know what he thought. No, I don't think him and his dad share an attorney. I don't know that the dad could be charged, but that's why that's his biggest IA investigation with the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office right now, is because of that incident. Because he drove by twice while this poor girl was getting beat by his son and his son's girlfriend, and he didn't even stop. And it's easily proven because, again, there's video. So Jefferson County is going to have to do something about that. They should have already done something to this guy for the other stuff. They're going to have to do something about that. No, his dad has not been charged with anything as of now, which is sad and unreal, honestly. I don't know the true reason they went over there and did her like that. She didn't even know them. But you hear Carson says, I don't believe him. I don't. And I'm going to be able to look into it and see if it's true. I haven't had a chance today, but I don't believe it. I think he was lying his ass off through the whole thing. He says that the girl keeps showing up at his mom's house and threatening his mom and all this stuff. So he was saying that, trying to justify why they went and beat this poor girl. That's, again, even if she was doing that, that's not what you do, Carson. More than likely, I think what I think it is, and I would bet everything on this. Carson's a coward. He hates his dad. He's fought his dad a few times, and he's always on the losing end. And so this time, he was like, I'm going to take it out on this poor little girl because I'm a lot bigger than her. In fact, he's over a foot taller than her. And his girlfriend is a lot bigger than her. And so this completely unsuspecting, innocent person pulls up in their driveway. And next thing you know, they're getting jumped by these two. And they hurt her pretty bad. That's why it's an assault too. Assault second degree is a pretty serious charge. Yeah, Dad was in his patrol vehicle driving by. I don't know. It all blew my mind. And but I don't know. I don't know. But my advice, if you're planning on lying to me, don't come on my podcast. I'm going to catch you and I'm going to call you out, and it's not going to work out well. It's just, that's ignorant. I mean, I nowhere else to say that. It's not smart. I mean, that's definitely a possibility, Mary. I don't know. None of it makes sense, but we're talking about two freaking crazy people, so I don't know. But yeah, it's strange that Dad drove by during those times. It's very weird. So I don't know. You definitely could be right. I mean, I'm not. They're not. They get no pass or excuse for this. Again, serial killers are mentally ill, all of them. Obviously, we don't give them a pass for that, nor should we. So, whatever mental things that him and his dad have going on, it's not a pass for them to go and beat women. It's not. Well, on TikTok, it doesn't automatically post your live when you get off. And so, as far as I know, he didn't post it like after, because it just, when you end it, it ends. And we saw when he ended it. So I doubt he's going to post it. But he definitely didn't want his live hearing anything about that. No, it's a major cluster. And I wish it wasn't going like this. I wish Carson was a good kid and really just doing the right thing and calling his dad out, and I was able to interview him about that and bring awareness to domestic violence, and which is what I was trying to do. And then unfortunately, I mean, I think we did that too, because the whole first part of the interview is about all that, and it's deep, it's sad, and I think it will help bring awareness to domestic violence. But this part didn't go well for Carson, and again, I didn't enjoy it, but I have no choice. I'm not going to pick and choose about bad people. If you're bad, I don't care. I don't care who you are. I'm going to call you out, and that's just the way it is. And I feel with my platform I feel that I feel responsible for letting people, when I know somebody's being scammed, I feel responsible for making sure they're aware of it, and that's what I'm going to do. But I got to run. I will see y'all back Friday night at 9 p.m. Central, and I'll be back on all the platforms. I'll be releasing this podcast. Might release it tomorrow evening, but it'll probably be Friday. So when I put that out, make sure y'all catch that. Or actually, you know what? If nothing, I think I would just release it tomorrow. That way people can watch it, because it's an hour and a half. That way people want to watch it, and then since I don't do a live tomorrow night versus putting it out Friday evening, and then yeah, I'll probably just put it out tomorrow evening. So y'all be looking for it. And the full podcast will go on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast. I'll put some clips, short clips and stuff on TikTok and Facebook. But as long as you're subscribed to the YouTube channel and you hit the notifications, then as soon as I drop it tomorrow, you'll be notified and you check it out. It's a really powerful interview. Again, I think it will help bring a lot of awareness to domestic violence. But the second half of it, I don't think went the way Carson expected it to be. But that's just the way it goes sometimes. Oh, he could definitely get additional charges for the money. That's fraud. I mean, I worked some of those specifically GoFundMe cases before on fraud. You can't lie to people about what it's for. Whatever you say the money's for is what it has to go for. That's straight up fraud. So again, the best thing he can do is refund everybody's money back. And then he needs to get himself some help and figure out what the fuck he's going to do, and not go around and thinking he can beat women. Because somebody someday is going to get a hold of him, and he's not going to be able to handle him. Because he's a little coward. He's a punk. Anyway, I'm pissed. I better go. But I appreciate each and every one of you. Hope you found the live tonight interesting. We're going to be digging a lot more into the Danny Williams thing because, like I said, wow. Somebody killed that guy. There's no doubt in my mind about that. It's sad that it wasn't investigated at all, but we're going to be digging more into that. If all goes well, I'll be publishing a podcast next week sometime with CC Dixon Moreno, and we'll talk a lot about the Orange Beach stuff on that. I'm looking forward to that. So we're supposed to record that podcast very soon. So I'm looking forward to that too. I think that'll be interesting. And then I'm going to I don't know if she's still on here, but I'm going to get up with Neely and I want to do some things with her and her co-host Whitney, as either me be on theirs or they be on mine or both or whatever. But I want to get them on to discuss the Danny Williams stuff because they know a lot more about it than I do. I'm looking forward to that too. So hopefully they agree to that and we can make that happen in the near future as well. But yeah, other than that, I appreciate you all. I hope you have a great rest of your Wednesday night, and I'll see y'all back Friday, 9 p.m. Central on all the platforms. Welcome to Truth Recon. I'm Agent D. Baker, former narcotics detective, SWAT team member, and U.S. Navy combat veteran. With years of real-world experience in high-stakes environments, I've seen firsthand the dangers that lurk both in our communities and now increasingly online. Before this show begins, understand this. What you are about to hear may be disturbing to some audiences. This podcast contains explicit language, dark themes, and real conversations that are not suitable for children and may be triggering for some individuals. If you choose to continue, do so knowing this content is intended for